So why is 2006 such a pivotal twist? I was reading before we were prepping for this on your website that was the kind of split fork in the road moment for you.
Yeah, 2006 is the year I joined the fire service, essentially.
Okay.
Um, I don't identify solely as a firefighter, but that's where it all started. That's where I went from being a fat, shy kid who was scared of his own shadow, to being thrust into a world where it was, well, you just got to grow up, haven't you? Really, you're suddenly you're the new person on the watch. All eyes are on you, and you've got to grow, and you sink or swim is the term I'm looking for, I guess. And that's where, yeah, you got to, I don't want to say man up, but you got to just put your big boy pants on and change, because if you don't, then you probably won't get the career out of it that you were hoping, I think.
I think
um,
if nothing changes, nothing changes. But often most people, I think, kind of make a lot of life decisions based what they believe on practicality, but it's usually fear. Like we'll convince us that we're such good salespeople to ourselves. We'll manipulate our professional, adult, practical decision into what was actually just fear. Usually, like we were
yeah,
scared to do it, and it makes it such an accusation to people because they're like, "Well, you don't actually get it. Like I've got kids and life responsibility. So's everybody else. So's
they're just
everybody else."
different.
And the things that you really want to do will give you an opportunity to betray them probably every single day. So who was the person before that was making these excuses, convincing themselves not to, constantly holding on to the handbrake as to stop yourself doing these things that you secretly wanted to do, but maybe weren't just getting over yourself to do?
I, I don't I don't think you could unpack that in huge terms, but I don't think I knew what I wanted to do. I had these dreams and aspirations. I was going to be a film director. I was going to be creative, and that
Mm.
was probably just born from the fact that I hid in my bedroom and watched Harrison Ford movies again and again and again and again, and then
Yeah.
and then eventually you watch a film that sparks something else. And I watched A Few Good Men, and then suddenly that was like, that's it. I'm going to be a lawyer in the RAF. That's going to be me. That is what I'm going to do.
Banging film, that
Yeah.
is.
Oh, what a film! Just like those key
You can't
moments.
handle
It's
the
just
truth.
exactly you can't.
Love
Ah,
it.
it's just like goosebumps, isn't it? I mean, it's goosebump moments.
Tell you what, I think Jack Nicholson is one of the best actors out there. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God. Just,
Well, it's
but then Tom Cruise as well, as much as he's got super weird in the last probably 5 or 6 years, like you can't take away from that guy. He's on a whole nother level. Because like you look at a lot of actors, you think high scale actor, but he is not only high scale. He think like does he own the Mission Impossible franchise? I think he's got
well,
some
if he
serious
doesn't,
involvement in that.
yeah, I mean, the amount of films he's pumped out from that, and he is that man.
He
He
is
is that
that.
film's, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think,
A
like you
whole nother
say,
level.
in A Few Good Men, he held his own. I think he was like this glamorous, like
Mm,
pretty boy actor, and then he
mm,
comes up against Jack Nicholson with all that charisma and that aura about him. And then when Nicholson unloads, you
mm.
expect Tom Cruise to kind of just buckle, but he holds his own, and there's that moment of respect to go, huh, he does know what he's doing.
But it's almost like
And
he's
maybe,
calling your better self forward as well. There's
mm,
nothing more like personally disgraceful, like when you're lying in bed at night and you're about to close your eyes and you know you're a pussy. Do you know what I mean? It's like your better self is in the next room shaking their head at you, going, "You pussy." Do you know what I mean? We said, and then Jack Nicholson is like the physical manifestation of that, where he's like, "Are you who you say you are going to be?" And
yeah,
it's the whole like causes the shadow of his father forward and all of those elements to it. And it is, I think people don't do that because they're just trying to be accepted, like they're trying to stay part of the pack. Like, I think it's a Jim Carrey one, isn't it? Where he's like, your need for acceptance will make you invisible because
yes.
you're just trying to fit in. You're just
Well, it's
trying to
the
fit
grey
in.
man.
The grey
That's what,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's how some people view the grey man as a positive,
Mm.
in certain scenarios, and other people, no, they shy away from that. Why would you want to
Yeah.
be that person?
Yeah.
Um, like if you go to training school, for instance, if you put yourself on a pedestal and put yourself up there and be at the top, then you're under pressure. If you're at the bottom,
Mhm.
you're under pressure. If you're the grey man in the middle, then nobody's
Mhm.
really going to pick you out. You just get along. Nobody really picks you out. So I can see why people be the grey man, but as you get older, or as I've got older, the concept of being that is
I think it's
No,
context dependent. Because I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah,
you can relate to it in some of the military adventures that you have. And when I've had, you know, some of the SAS gang on here in the past, they will obviously speak highly of the Grey Man. Because when you're in that training phase, it makes sense. And the main metric there is just resiliency and make it through the end. Like everyone's going to get pushed in any capacity. So it's kind of just mental resiliency. But I think if I'm hearing you correctly, like when you map that into your own personal life, it shouldn't be the aspiration,
yeah,
because ironically, like before someone goes for something like that, like a high performance tactical team or military team, by sheer essence of going for it, you are not the Grey Man, because everybody's not doing that. You've got to put
yeah,
yourself forward to be tested, and you've got to make that plan, because no one else is going to care if you don't go for it. It's not going to make a difference to my life if Scott doesn't aspire to his ambitions. It's not making a
yeah.
difference to me. Do you know what I mean?
No. But you can transition. You're putting yourself forward, so you're not the Grey Man anymore. But then when you go into that next level, you can then
Yeah.
become the Grey Man again.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
it's all
yeah,
about levels, isn't it? So
yeah. I
it's,
also
I
get like
suppose if,
altitude. Do you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? You
true.
punch through to the next level, and to start with, you have to be the weirdo that goes, "I'm going up to the next level." Everyone goes, "What are you doing? Stay down here." Like you realize there's less oxygen up there. You're going to die. And then you get up there, and you realize there are other people up here. They are also freaks, and it's not necessarily unsurvivable, but it's certainly less crowded. And you're marching to the beat of a different drum when you're pushing. It's like there's a new tempo on life. That's all it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. And, some people will thrive in that lower oxygen atmosphere, and other people go, you know what, I've tried it. That's not for me. Step back. And then you're left with the people that go, okay, this is it. Bring it on. Let's do this.
Yeah, but did you have to step away from anybody when you started making this transition into all of the crazy stuff that you've been up to? Because I'm sure your friends, family, loved ones, colleagues at that time probably were used to the Scott that you were then, before you went off and did all the crazy stuff we're going to get talking about in a minute. Like, was there just fear from them? Or was it fear, or was it like, don't abandon me, manifesting his fear? Because if you go like, oh, I want more, I want to go and join the fire service, I want to go and climb these mountains, row these oceans, go kart round the world till my knees bleed. And they're like, why are you doing this? Like, are you saying your life sucks? Because I kind of like our life. I find that really hard. I relate it to when I went through addiction. It's like a long series of like really clunky goodbyes. If you actually want to change your life, you've got to
Yeah.
change the people you're around sometimes.
Yeah. I think it's, you're going to have a whole range of those different relationships and those different transitions.
Mhm,
You get some people that are going, great, I knew you had this in you, let's
mhm,
do it. You get others who kind of go, well done. I don't
mhm,
understand, but well done.
mhm,
And then certainly some relationships just completely change. You grow in a different way. You go in different directions,
mhm.
um, and that's all part of life. You can't dwell on that. You can try and keep that relationship going, but if they're not adding any value to your life, then what are you doing? You might hold on because you're adding something to theirs, and it's not always going to be 50-50 backwards and forwards, isn't it? But you've got to try and give to them. But there gets to a point where you go, I don't
Is
know,
this just one
what
way
else?
flow?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're
And
like,
and
I
that's
love it when we
tiring,
spend
isn't
time together. I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised,
it?
because
Yeah,
like I'm your go-to person. I help you with these things. I'm there to support you. And people are like, yeah, well, that's what friends should do, Pete. I'm like, yeah, they
yeah,
should do that for each other. But
yeah,
you can't keep being the go-to person for people that you can't go to for help. Do you know what I mean? Are they just
yeah.
coming into your space, your life, your mind, and dumping all of their stuff and going,
And
"Oh,
sucking your
Scott,
energy.
my life at the minute, let me tell you, the kids are mad. My manager's a dick. Like, that arthritis is kicking in again. Mortgage is going up." And you're like, "I'm all right. Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you've got to be there for each
yeah,
other, but it's tough because people will hear maybe what we're starting to talk about here and be like, oh, that's, you're just abandoning people, you're using people and moving on. I'm like, that's not what it is. Do you know what I mean? You should both add value to each other's life. You should be like amplifiers for each other. And I don't know
yeah,
if it's a UK thing as well. Like, we can be a bit self-deprecating, and people might want to see you do well, but they maybe don't want to see you do better than them.
That is, I think that's us in a nutshell. I think that's how the
Most
rest of
of
the world
us.
sees us
I
as
don't think
well.
it's all
Yeah.
of us, but
No, well, you can blanket kind of just go, yeah, that's the UK or that's an
yeah, it might be the
American.
general finger on
That's
the pulse of how things
yeah,
are done around here
yeah.
sometimes.
But I think that's generally how we are viewed. That's we like an underdog, don't we?
Yes,
But as
we
soon
do.
as you become good at something, then people are like, oh, he's boring. I'm not into darts
Or they go, it must nice to be
whatsoever.
you. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Darts is just a game. It's not a sport, if you ask me. But that's another conversation. But like, I keep my finger on the pulse of sport, and I couldn't understand why Luke Littler was being booed, and it's just when you look into it a little bit, it's
Oh,
because people get
yeah.
bored of the fact that he's just winning everything. So he's gone from everybody loving him because he's this young underdog.
Yeah.
Now he's proven that he's the top dog, and everybody's like, yeah, not interested. Yeah, like, what? It doesn't
It
make any
is,
sense.
it's really weird, isn't it? And harsh. Because like you say, people want to see you win until you win consistently. And
Yeah,
then they can get a little bit sick of it. Unless they're also a winner themselves. Because I think true winners want to see their friends win because they can enjoy the view together because they know how hard the climb was. Do you know what I mean? But people
yeah,
that have maybe never done that
okay.
climb will clap you to start with until you get to a certain altitude. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's how they interact and how they understand what you've done. So,
mm,
for instance, if I go on a long bike ride,
mhm.
like on a silly little bike, people understand how hard that is because almost everybody's ridden a bike.
Yeah,
They've got that empathy. They understand that to do 100 and something miles a day on a fold up bike from the 50s is hard work. But so that you get that massive engagement. But if you row an ocean, people go, that sounds hard and really cool. I
yeah,
don't really have any reference for how hard that is, though.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
almost like the bigger and the grander thing people do, it sounds amazing, but there's a lack of
yeah,
understanding and real world knowledge of what that actually
yeah.
means.
I've got no contextual reference to the things that you're
Exactly.
saying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Doing a 5K versus someone's, like you say, doing some of the stuff that you've done. It's like, I don't even know how to wrap my head around that. I think it's the same with, like when you see charities give to people, they are very clever with their marketing because if I said to you, 20,000 children died in South Africa through starvation or whatever, you'll go, Jesus Christ. All right, that's a massive number. I couldn't even, you know, when you walk into a stadium and they go, there's 70,000 people in here, you go, you could have told me there was 150,000 or you could have told me there was 40,000. And I'd have gone, yeah, probably there or thereabouts because I've no idea. But what they do instead in charities, they'll tell you the story of Malala, who walks 10 miles a day to get water for her mum. And you go,
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? We learn through stories, don't we? And
Yes, exactly.
both are catastrophic. And I'm not, you know, making these small things that aren't important, but I'm just using it as an example to say like we relate to a story. And that's when I think like when you go on your website and you see some of the stories that unfold through your stuff. I think that's why vlogging and all that sort of jazz has become
Mm.
so amazing and why perhaps the people that I mean, you must look at people like Ross Edgley and go, I've done stuff that he does. I've actually done some harder stuff, to be honest. Not me, but you certainly have. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, why is this dude on the front of my protein? Do you know what I mean? Why is this dude getting all the high five? Because he's a great storyteller. I
He's a
think
great
is
storyteller.
part
He
of.
doesn't have the bags under his eyes like I do. No. He's a better
No,
image.
I think he's got a lot more stuff in his skin that he's maybe.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
There's probably some other stuff going in there. I think there's a reason he doesn't compete in competitive sport. I'm not sure he'd pass the drug test. But that's another conversation. I've met Ross. He used to train at Loughborough
All
University,
right.
where
Oh,
I
yes,
used
he
to
did.
train
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. So
Ah,
he used to go back there all the time. There's a couple of mutual friends, and I'm not pretending I'm bloody Ross Edgley's friend, but I would happily be his friend.
yeah. Why not?
And I
Yeah.
think he's incredible what he does. And if people are, oh, Pete, you're throwing salt, I'm like, he's not an Olympic athlete, so it doesn't really matter what he is or is not doing. It doesn't take away from how incredibly difficult it was. Jesus
Mm,
Christ, he swam around the UK. Do you know what I
unbelievable.
mean? I
Yeah.
was did you ever see the documentary about the Tour de France stuff? Was it called Doped, or was it called?
I know what you mean. I've not seen it. No, I haven't.
What
No.
was the guy who was? So he was going to prepare for doing the the Tour de France, and he did it naturally, and then he said, "I'm going to do it now, doping." And he got in touch with some Russian dude, and
Yeah.
who had already done all the doping for the Olympic team or something like that. And then, like, whilst they were recording it, this doctor got effectively found out and had to try and escape the country and all this sort of stuff. But anyway, through the studies and through what they were doing, they're basically saying trying to achieve what these people are achieving these days would be unsafe if you were not using some serious supplementation. And the spectrum between supplementation and doping is like a depends how you want to word it. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
definitely.
Because okay, creatine, protein, yeah, okay. What about this? What about that? What about blood doping? What about EPO? What about da 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 da? Do you know what I mean? I think it's the Wild West out there these days, but it doesn't take away from the resiliency that is put in by those individuals. You know, like Lance Armstrong, 2 or 3 courses of cancer that he had to get over, and then people go, "Oh, but he was a drug cheat." Didn't they have to give it to like 15th place when they took it away from him because there was just
Yeah.
so many other people
Yeah.
who got pinged?
Oh, cycling's a sport that, yeah, it's hard for the layman to really understand because it's just so
Yeah,
full of it. You go, well, it's a bit like just anything on social media. You just go, is that AI? Is that real? No, it's not.
yeah,
Yeah, it's the same as
yeah.
cycling. Are they? Is he an ultimate like, sportsman? I don't know. You know.
Going back to the darts thing, you said it's not a sport.
Mm.
Um, I think let's unfold that as an analogy for a second. So I think of things like snooker, pool, darts, golf, things like that. High levels of skill, very high levels of skill. Well, what makes an athlete, in your opinion?
I don't know. It's almost like a throwaway comment about it being it's a game. But I just remember when I was young, my dad said, if you can wear normal shoes to do it, it's not a sport. And that's just kind of how I've always viewed it.
Yeah, yeah,
And the only thing that's probably changed, I found out the other day that you can go 10-pin bowling in your own shoes now. I'm like, is that not a sport anymore then? Is it a
yeah. It's
game? I
a
don't know.
weird one,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because, like you say, they require a high level of skill,
Yep.
but and like someone argued the golf one with me the other day because they were like, "Well, haven't you seen Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy? I bet they could bench more than you, or whatever the thing was." And I was like, "I imagine they are very strong,
Mm.
definitely. You know, I've seen video montages of them on YouTube and stuff. They're incredibly strong." But then I also go, "Who is the out of shape Scottish golfer? His name's going to escape me.
Oh,
Um,
old school one. Montgomery?
yeah,
Colin
Colin
Montgomery?
Montgomery. I
Yeah.
think he's like one of the most successful golfers of all time. Dude wasn't an athlete. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Incredibly high skill.
Yeah.
But I imagine, as far as they're hitting them these days, there is a tremendous amount of core strength involved in it. But it is difficult. Like you and the endeavors you have chosen are specifically very physically arduous.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
when did you start wanting to pursue these hedonic adventures?
The very big turning point. So after joining the fire service, I think it was probably 2 years in, a year in, something like that. Did John O'Groats Land's End with one of the lads on the watch.
Yeah.
Something I've always wanted to do. We did it 8.5 days, which is reasonable time. And I came away with that thinking,
People that don't know what that
really
is,
enjoyed that.
just explain it a bit more for me.
It's John O'Groats Land's End, so it's tip to tip the UK
Yeah.
cycle.
Cycle.
So yeah, so
'Cause you can walk it, can't you?
yeah,
Obviously, you can walk
it,
or run it, but most
yeah,
people
you
cycle
could
it. Yeah.
you do a skateboard it, do whatever you want really, but there's a record for almost everything out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we cycled it. So I came back from that thinking I really enjoyed that. Enjoyed the challenge, like the physical challenge and the mental, like getting your head down into the wind, all that kind of stuff. And then a couple of years later, we were in Florida, me and my wife Louise, and we had a really adventurous holiday. We'd done something new every day for like a week. I'm like, I wonder how long I can keep this going. So I did. So came home, like perm my hair and trying different foods and extreme ironing and just trying to find something new every day to do that I'd never done before. And that became quite difficult because you got all these grand illusions you're going to be jumping out planes and abseiling down rock faces. But time, money, all that gets in the way. But
Mm-hmm.
so that went on, and it became more of a story about how you quite often do something new but you don't really appreciate it because it's just something small, but every day you're growing as a person, and that kind of became how the story. But anyway, 21 days before the end, I was riding a speedway bike. So a speedway is motorbikes go around a dirt track, no brakes, up to like 70 miles an hour. I'd never done it before, but I was named after a speedway rider by my dad. So I thought, oh,
Nice.
this opportunity came up to do a track day. I was like, brilliant, never done that before. So day's going brilliantly, absolute buzz, loved it, awesome thing to do. But then on the last lap of the day, I was chasing down this South African guy who was dressed all in white. I remember it very vividly. I was right in his tail, and the second to last bend, he spilled it in the middle of the bend. And I had like a split moment to decide, do I hit him or do I hit the barrier head on? So I chose the barrier, um, flipped over the bike, handlebars into the groin, pushed the bike off, had all the Kevlar and everything on. I had a hematoma like the size of, I don't know, like a small melon on my groin. And I was like, whoa,
Nice.
that's not good. And then I couldn't feel my foot, and I was like, oh dear. I remember my wife, she'd been watching, she came over the barrier and was like, tears. Oh my God, are you okay? I'm like, did you film it? And she's like, looked at me like, what? She says, no. I said, oh my God, you've
For
been
God's
filming all
sake.
day. You did film this moment.
One job.
Yeah, exactly. One job. Meanwhile, my dad sat in his deck chair like, yeah, what's going on kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the long and short of it was I got rushed to the hospital, and they opened me up, and I've got a bit of plastic in my left femoral artery instead of artery. So it's got plastic called Dacron. So then I had a 3-month recovery from that, and people then were like, well, you got to take it slow now, you've had this big accident, I was like, listen to this thinking, come again? What?
The story they try and sell you.
Yeah. I've
I hate
essentially
that.
just cheated death. If you talk to the surgeons, they're like, yeah, 1 or 2 mile an hour more, you probably wouldn't be here. You would have, like, the
Yeah.
artery would have gone, and that would have
Yeah.
been that. And, I never think of it as a near death experience. I didn't, see the light or have
Yeah.
this epiphany or anything like that. Just listening to these people saying you need to slow down. I thought, no, I don't. By this point, I've never really done anything amazing, but I was like, okay, this is my moment. This is where I'm going to change.
Mhm.
And that's where, yeah, I came up with this ridiculous triathlon of sorts that I created for myself that was a logistical nightmare, and I was fully in at the deep end. I didn't tiptoe into the adventure world. I went, right, that's what I'm going to do, and then
What
ever
was the
since then,
recovery from that first incident? How long was the recovery off that?
3 months I was off work.
Okay.
3 months of writing the book about doing something new every day, which was
Yeah.
a blessing, and playing Call of Duty. I mean, I've not touched my PlayStation for about 3 years now, but that time we had just moved to Devon, and my wife was still sort of going away every 4 days, and I was just at home like, oh well, I'll play that and write, and that was my day. And although I'm a very active person, you quickly get sucked into that. This is who I am now. And then
Yeah,
when
man.
it was time to go back to work, I was like, but when will I play the game? I look back and think, bloody, what a waste of time.
I know.
But
You
no,
can
just,
see how that bloody leech just grabs hold of people, though,
yeah,
wraps
yeah.
its tentacles around them, and
Oh,
then it's an
yeah, I
addiction.
was fully
It's a
sucked in.
modern day addiction.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
100%.
hugely so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pleased I don't switch it on anymore. I mean, we've all got a different addiction. The phone is right there in your hand.
Yeah.
You can justify it as, oh, I'm doing some research, or,
Productivity is
yeah.
a beautiful addict's crosser. When I went through Narcotics Anonymous when I was in my early 20s, I learned very quickly that you never actually stop being an addict. I thought you were going to cure addiction, but you don't. You just cross addict to something else.
That's interesting.
Addiction is
Yeah.
a character trait. You just
Did
become
you realize
addicted
that?
to other things.
Did you realize that, or did they tell you that?
You learn it through the other people that you're around, because
Right.
you have to try and befriend your addiction and recognize it more as a symptom of who you are. It's a
Mm-hmm.
feature, not a bug. It's not something you're going to cure or you can cut out of you, or you
Yeah.
can, find a remedy for. You just have to find a healthier outlet for it where it can live alongside you, because I often, when talk to my missus about like the wolves. It's a fucking silly thing, but when we're having personal time together, like you have these things in your head and they're always chasing something. They're always hunting something. They want the dopamine. They want the win. They want something to attack and get after. And you can't really switch them off. And if you don't give them something to hunt towards, they'll just turn around and eat you. It's a bit like a badly behaved dog that you don't let exercise. It will just eat you. Do you know what I mean? Professor Stephen Peters wrote a good book about the chimp paradox, which describes it way better than I could ever explain it. But another one of the people in recovery spoke about it as like a balloon or a beach ball that you try to push down underwater and deny, and it will just burst up somewhere else, like it does when you're in the swimming pool, and it will splash a friend, or it will splash your child and they'll start crying, or it will hit somebody old and hurt them, or it will hurt you, or it will just take all of your energy to keep suppressing it all the time and masking it. So you just need to find a healthy outlet for it. So that's why people will often cross addict to things like fitness or business or something that they can manipulate into a healthier outlet for them.
Yeah. So it's not
or
about
they fall back into a drug.
It's not ridding yourself of that trait. It's just funneling it in a more healthy direction. You're not going to get rid of that trait,
No.
but because it's part of who you are. But it's finding
Fire service
a
analogy
way.
is like you've got a 10-bar jet you can't switch off. Just keep it pointed somewhere. It's not going to hurt anybody.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? Because if you're just like waving it around, or you don't pay attention to it, you turn around and it's blasting the shit out of somebody else, or you've lost control of it and you've injured yourself or hurt yourself or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So and you can get addicted to people as well. Like if you're not careful, like you fall in love with somebody new, or you think you're in love, and you're actually just become addicted to them. And that can become really unhealthy as well. You can get addicted to anything, to be honest with you. And you're probably an addict, to be fair. You're obviously, there's something in you that's chasing this stuff.
Yeah, I think other people have said that before. You're addicted to. Some people use the word adrenaline, but I don't think it is adrenaline, because if you're doing a long distance physical challenge, that's not an adrenaline rush.
No.
I do like adrenaline. Who doesn't really? But most of those challenges don't involve adrenaline. There'll be maybe moments of it, but they're not
just
the
monotonous.
Theme of it.
Because adrenaline is a very short term, potentially toxic fuel. You can't run on it forever. Do you know what I mean? It might get you off the start line. People talk about the same in motivation, don't they? Like motivation will get you off the start line, but also you've got to be ready for if it doesn't turn up. Because motivation sometimes takes a day off, and you still got shit to do. So,
and that's where a lot of the challenge is for me. It's all in the head. It's how you manage that monotony. It's how you manage the signals from your legs going, I'm tired, I've had enough. And that's the real challenge. I'm not the fastest. I'm not the strongest. I'm not the fittest. I'm not the most intelligent, the funniest. But I'm pretty good at managing those levels to somewhere where I'm happy and I can keep on pushing the boundary for me. And other people might go, that's crazy. I can't believe you just ran a marathon before work. I'm like, yeah, it's not for everybody, but I'm proving I can do it. And there'll be somebody who's doing the same thing as me in the same morning somewhere in the world, but they're doing it an hour and a half quicker than I am.
Yeah.
Do I care? Well, not really. There'll always be
but
somebody faster.
They're there as well.
Yeah.
And you can take that as an inspiration, or you can use it as a stick to beat yourself over the head with and go, oh my God, I'm such a lazy, piece of whatever. I can't even do a 5K this morning, and bloody Scott's out there doing 36 miles or whatever he's doing. Do you know what I mean? And people can't, or 32, isn't it? Sorry. People can't wrap their head around taking it as inspiration rather than using it as a reason to, on the other side of the scales, to why they're so lazy. What is Scott doing that's so special? Like, how did you turn around that 3-month recovery into this triathlon? Talk us through what that first one was.
So I was looking for something that was tangible, something that I wanted to go and do something. I didn't ever expected to have to plan something major. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to climb a mountain. And I just looked at a map and I found Mount Elbrus in Russia. I thought, great, I like traveling. And I thought, I'll go to Russia. That'd be a cool thing to do. Mount Elbrus, one of the 7 summits, whether you agree with it or not, is the highest point in Europe. So I thought I'll go there. And I brought up looking at maps from my dad, had maps everywhere. And I was just kind of looking at it, and I see the Black Sea is between us and Mount Elbrus. And I thought, and I'd listened to books and, what's his name? Ben Fogle, about that crossing the Atlantic, and Cracknell, and really inspired. I thought, you know what, I'll just row across that. It's no big deal. It's, it's not the Atlantic. It's pretty small in ocean rowing terms. And then kind of thought, well, if I'm going to climb that and row that, I might as well cycle the first bit. And that's what it became. It became this triathlon. And I was like, okay, I know how to cycle and I can camp. That bit, that's a no-brainer. I can do that. The Mount Elbrus, I'll just find a company that will provide a guide, and that's sorted. Then I had this problem. I've got the Black Sea in the middle. So you start researching it, and you go, okay, ocean rowing boats are expensive vessels.
Yeah.
They cost
I think that was one of the things
money.
we first spoke about, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Because
was,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, the Atlantic Dash thing sounds really, really cool. But the sodding logistics and cost of these things is, I
Yeah.
think, the thing that doesn't get much talked about. I think
It's
when I
getting
look
to
at,
this.
the Goggins and the Ross Edgley, I'm like, they've got a logistics team. They must have a
Yeah.
logistics team. Someone's doing all this for them. You just can't. That's such a heavy lift in itself.
Well, that's it. And I think most people sign up to a race, so the Atlantic Dash or the Talisker. It's an organised race where, yes, you've got to raise the money and get yourself to the start line, but then there's a handbook. You need to do X, Y, and Z before you're
Yeah.
allowed to row across. There will be a support boat. You need to be here to start the race, and we'll end here, and you set your flare off. Brilliant. Whereas the Black Sea, it turns out nobody had ever done it before. So one, there was no real information. Like, there was nobody I could contact and say, where did you start from? What was the conditions like? What's the best route to take, or anything like that. And then, like I say, you're looking at boats, and it's 100, 120, 130, 140, 50,000 pounds for an ocean rowing boat. And I was like, yeah, I don't have that. But managed to track down an old plywood boat that was first built for the first Talisker ocean rowing race in 1997. These days they're not made out of plywood, but it was back then. And I met a guy called Jeff Allen, who's he's a hero in the ocean rowing world. He was the first to cross, I'm going to probably get it wrong, east to west, the Atlantic with his cousin.
Nice.
And then in his 60s, he decided he was going to try and do the Atlantic again, and bought this boat called Pacific Pete. And he tried. After 6 days, he slipped, hurt his back, and he had to come back. And then his wife was like, yeah, you're not doing that again. So I'd heard about this boat being available, and I basically had an interview with him, and he was like, I felt like I was being interviewed whether I was worthy of owning this boat that he needed to get rid of but didn't want to get rid of.
Yeah.
I must have passed the interview, went and bought the boat. So the boat only cost £7,000. So when you're talking boats at over 100,000, this is $7,000.
That's still expensive, though.
Yeah, it was a push for me. It was a big financial push. I had to borrow some money from friends. And,
for something you're not going to use every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of a unicorn purchase, this one.
Well, that's it. It's funny how you justify these things. I've been looking at a gym shirt that I really like for 40 quid. I'm like, 40 quid for a shirt, but I'll probably wear that 2 or 3 times a week. So it's actually not bad value, really. But it's how you justify these things, isn't it? We have this conversation all the time. You go to a restaurant and you're like, oh, we'll have a bottle of wine with that meal. Well, that's £18. I'm like, what? But you go, okay. But if you go and buy a t-shirt for 18 quid, you go, what? It's really strange.
Perceived
how you
value
isn't it?
is massive, isn't it? It's crazy.
So yeah, I bought this boat, and it had a couple of dings in the side, and he said where it got transported. I was like, that's fine. Took it to a boatyard down near Poole, and they went, yeah, you need to throw this away. It's rotten. I was like, come again? Yeah, it's rotten in the inside. And my whole world just fell apart. And I've just borrowed all this money for this boat that you just told me is completely knackered.
Yeah, I'm guessing you didn't take your missus for that one.
No.
I don't want to hear in that bit. What did they say? Said it's great. Said it'd be ready in a week.
Yeah.
Best one they've seen, they said.
Yeah,
remarkable given the age.
Lovely colour. Yeah. So I brought it home and sort of sulked for a bit, and then sort of thought, I need to do something about this. So I know a guy who I chatted to him. He used to live on boats and knew a bit So sort of contacted him. He's like, yeah, we can repair that. So managed to get it upside down, started cutting away the hull. And then after about a week, he went, yeah, I can't do this with you. I can't have this on my conscience that we're going to repair this boat and then you go off on this crossing on your own. I can't deal with that. I
How far
understood.
the crossings like? I'm trying to look at it, and it's something between. They've got between 400 and 600 miles. The
Yeah, so
crossing.
650 miles I rode, 1,200 kilometers, or 650 nautical miles, which is slightly
Jesus.
different. But um, so yeah, you couldn't have that on his conscience. So
How
I was
long?
like,
How long
okay.
does it take?
It took me 29 days, but 7
Yikes!
of those were going backwards. So
Awesome.
you could do it quicker, and people have. Um, but yeah,
That's
it's tough.
massive.
It was tough, but enjoyable. Uh, but yeah, so the boat was.
So, how does it get fixed in the end? How does the boat get fixed?
I just continued with little bits that I'd watched a friend do, and just continued on my own and patched it up. Put some new plywood in, slapped some resin all over it, screwed it together, and prayed for the best.
Is this just in the home garage then?
Yeah, it was in a sort of friend of friend watch manager in Coombe Martin. He had a big garage, and he's like, "Yeah, you can put it in there." So I just popped down there and work on it, and stuck it in a trailer, and I thought, well, hopefully that'll do. Uh, and that was my boat. That was Pacific Pete, and yeah,
So, how were you planning to do these three things? A, physical preparation. B, time recovery between. C, separate logistics for each bit in terms of, are you carrying all of your kit for all three things along the whole thing? Are you shipping it to meet you in places?
yeah. So this is all the logistics. This is the
That's what I'm
tricky part.
saying.
Yeah.
Nightmare.
So I didn't have time to train because I was fixing the boat. So and when it comes to ocean rain, you don't need to train for it anyway. You get fit doing it. Like if anything, you want to put on weight beforehand because you're going to
Yeah.
burn
When I
through
was
that in
looking at
no
the
time.
crossing thing, they're like, you lose about 3 stone because I think that's average is about 45 days for a team of four. But
Yeah,
there are people that have done
you
that
can't
solo, but
eat enough. You
no,
can't
yeah.
eat enough
It's just
food, and you
calories.
don't want to either.
Yeah.
It's minging. Yeah, basically. Uh,
So you
so
didn't train?
not really. No, no. I mean,
Surely
I
you'd have
keep
to
fit.
train for the climb bit because there's an altitude element to that because Elbrus
There
is
is.
like 5,500 meters or something, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. But I knew I was going to turn up having been across a sea in a boat, so it didn't matter what I trained for. I was going to be physically depleted anyway. So I kind of just went, well, I'll just have to deal with it. If you ask any of my watch managers over the years, they'll go, oh yeah, he pushes the boundaries. He like fits it in just so he's just got enough time, which I guess makes some of them a bit
Getting
nervous. Like,
leave. Christ, yeah. The next thing is leave.
yeah. Yeah,
Christ.
I was quite fortunate, because this is the first thing I'd done. People were quite flexible. I had people do shifts for me, and we had enough people on the watch to allow me to just have this chunk of leave altogether.
How long
So
was
that was
the whole
quite
thing
handy.
before we go back into it?
So the cycle was 18 days, the row was 29 days, and then 10 days on the mountain.
So what's
But
that in
with
total?
little bits in
60
between.
something?
Well, so this is where it everything changed. So
Okay.
in answer to your question about logistics, so the plan was I was going to get my bike, start cycling. When I got 3/4 of the way to Bulgaria, my watch manager at the time and another firefighter friend were going to drive my car with the boat to Bulgaria. They'd meet me in Burgas, put the boat in the water. They were then going to drive around to through Turkey to Georgia, leave the boat trailer and my car there, and then fly home. And then I'd get across, put the boat on the trailer, climb the mountain, drive home. That was the plan. Unfortunately, my car got 20 miles into France, and I think it was a turbo blew. So it was then basically just stuck in this little village in France. I was like,
And are they
crap.
ringing? They're ringing you on one of your bike brakes and
Yeah,
going,
I'm in
"Yeah,
like
we're
Serbia or
stuck."
something, and they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's broken. And they tried, and we tried to get it fixed, but it just didn't happen. And that was the first real moment where I went, okay, this isn't working. I need to overcome this mentally more than anything else. What do I do? And I just had to make a very quick decision that I'm going to get to the end of the bike ride, and this is not going to be what I planned. I'm going to have to go home, and I'm going to have to reset. It's not going to be this seamless triathlon. I'm going to have to go. I've done one section. this is what it is. Roll the punches, go home, and start again. So that's what I did. I got to the Black Sea. I was like, this is amazing. I've got here. And then flew home, and then had to then go through the process of going getting the car and the boat from France and towing it back to England and getting it repaired. And by this time there wasn't enough leave or like a weather window, so I was like, okay, the other 2 sections are going to have to be the next year. So that was 2015. So I thought, okay, that's fine.
You've made that. I know you've just told that very shortly, but I think we're not doing justice to the colossal level of mental resiliency and adaptivity that actually takes. And I know you maybe feel a bit weird. It's hard to put words to how easy that may have seemed for you, but in the back of other people's minds, they're like, but what you on about? Like, who's paying for them to get out to Georgia? How did your missus not leave you? Like, what have you just doing, taking another loan out? Like, try and just give a couple of references on how you overcome a setback like that in such stride without the level of stress not nagging your mind whilst you're also cycling. There's so much there. I know this is one of the many things we're going to talk about today, but
I think
you've gotten so used to this. We said earlier about the cognitive leap that people are trying to keep hold of this storyline, because it is true. People can go and check the website. But this bit in itself is big for me.
Yeah, it's easy to gloss over it and say, oh yeah, I just made the decision that it's fine. It's gone wrong. I'll roll.
How did you not just sit at the roadside and cry for a few hours or days?
There was a moment where I was in. This is pre being told the car broke down. I was in Luxembourg, and it was ridiculously hot. I hadn't drunk enough. I was sat in this petrol station forecourt, just absolutely, completely wiped out. I had nothing. I had the shakes. I felt faint. Trying to get some electrolytes down my throat, and just thought, what am I doing? Why I'm not good enough for this. This is not me. Like, you go and read a book. Go, do something simple. And something got me up, and I got to the campsite in Luxembourg, and I stank as well, waiting to check into this campsite. And like these wonderful people were just like, oh, you okay? Like, where have you just come from? And it kind of explained, and like, oh, come down to our tent. We've got all the washing gear you need. We'll sort you out. And it's just like one of those first moments of the people you meet help you on that journey. But there were certainly moments where I just thought, I'm an imposter. What am I doing here? This is
we all have
not
that
strong enough
at different levels, all the time.
I had a moment where I chatted to my mum on the phone, just like, what am I doing, Mum? I know she's always been my rock. Like, I phone my mum, and she's like, yeah, I understand it's hard, but basically get a grip of yourself. You can do this. And
that's so good of your mum to do that, because the maternal instinct to want to say, baby, just come home. It's okay. I love you. We're all proud of you. You've achieved so much already. Just come home. Please be safe. I'm worried about you. Like, both of those are understandable from a parent.
And she does both, though. She's very good at saying, no, you're my eldest. You've done so much. It's really impressive. I tell everybody about you, and all that maternal love and like arm around the shoulder. But then she's very much from a working background and go, yeah, you can do this. You get a grip of yourself. I know it's hard, but you're my son. You can do this. You're tougher than that. And whatever word she used at the time.
I think my dad would do that. I think my mum has always been the more lovingly reserved, in just the terms of, there's a lot of worry. There's a lot of worry. Do you know what I mean?
And I'm sure,
especially when you do get the injuries. And they're like, oh, you're going to lose your job. Like, come on, like, you're taking years off your life here. What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Slow down. It's hard, man. It's hard.
And she probably does think that, but masks it well. Whereas, like, just using what you said there,
maybe she doesn't love you. Maybe you're adopted. maybe she's trying to convince you to get you off the will. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Whereas if you ask my dad,
love you, Mrs. Butler,
in that moment, he would, my dad would have gone, "What are you doing again?" Like, he's so disconnected from what I'm doing that he wouldn't even come across his bows, and that's fine. Yeah, different mindset. But yeah.
So you spoke to your mum, and she said,
"Yeah, I spoke to her mum.
Get your finger out your arse. Come on, you said you're going to do it.
Got on with it.
Yeah.
And then, you got time. You sat in a saddle for 120 miles in a day.
It's
You got
mad.
scenery to look at, but
Yeah.
you're in your own head. So I had time to digest what had happened and what I was going to do about it. And then I just fixed or changed my um my end point. I just go, okay, the end is now getting to the Black Sea. You're breaking it down. You've got this massive adventure, but now your adventure is cycling 1,800 miles. And if you just took that as the original aim, you'd be
Yeah.
like, I've done it. 1,800 miles in 18 days. Fantastic.
Mm.
So it's about contextualizing it in a different way. And when I got back to work, funny enough, because I'd put little posters up and like try and get people to follow on the fire station, and it's a fire station. So it was like if Carlsberg could do cycle
Yeah, yeah,
guides,
yeah.
and it was like failed and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I could easily have taken that to heart and gone, yeah, I've totally mucked up there. What was I thinking? But I just took it as it was. It's fire service humour, and go, it's
Yeah.
their way of going, we were following, we were behind you, but
Oh, yeah.
we're going to
They're
take the
all
mick out of you.
watching. They're all
Yeah,
watching. They
yeah,
pretend they're not. They're all watching.
yeah.
But
They
secretly, it's
were. And,
inspiring for them as well. Yeah.
yeah, well, you get some people who message you and go, I'm going to buy a bike now because I never thought about cycling, but I've been watching you. It's amazing. And
Yeah.
others will just take the piss. And yeah, that's fair enough. You
It's fine.
can't inspire everybody. Not everybody's going to be on the same page. Not everybody's interested. So,
I think that's
you
just
do
the
what you
outward
can.
voice. And again, this might be the story I'm telling myself, but I think the outward voice is the piss take. The inward voice, again, when they get in bed at night, they're kind of going, what's my version of this? I said I was going to do the extension on the house. I said I was going to take my daughter to Disneyland. Whatever. Do you know what I mean? And I think it does awaken something. I don't know. Maybe that's just a story I'm telling myself, but I think there's a tremendous amount of inspiration people take from people like you inwardly that perhaps they don't want to profess outwardly in case they still never change. But
we all do it.
you're giving them
I do
fuel.
that.
Yeah.
I do that as well, don't I? And you do that. You listen to somebody on your
Yeah.
podcasts, or you listen to somebody, you meet somebody, and you go, "Wow, they're smashing it. They're grabbing life. They're achieving goals." And then you look and you go, "What have I done?" And you go, "Well, actually, try and put it in some kind of context. It's just different. Everyone's leading a different life. Not everyone's going to lead the same path." Ross Edgley, love him, amazing, I'm
Incredible.
never going to be able to do what he does.
But he
You
can't
can
do what you do
aspire
either.
to. Well,
His story will
I
never
don't know.
be no. But he's not part of the fire. He's not part of the fire service. He didn't do the boat thing the way you did it. I always say to people, like, your mess is your message. That is you. No one can beat you at you. If
No,
you try
that's
and
your
beat
own
Ross
story.
at being Ross, yeah, you're going to lose.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
amazing at being Ross, and he's incredible. And there will never be another one, and there wasn't one before him. He is the one and only Ross Edgley, and my God, is he crushing it? Yeah,
He certainly is. Yeah.
but so are you.
Well, that's
Do you
his
know what I
story. This is
mean?
my story. But that's
Exactly.
the important thing, is remembering that
Yes.
you aren't somebody else. You are
No.
you, and you do your own thing.
You'll always be a bang average version of someone else, but you could be a great version of you. No one's going to do you.
100%.
Do you know what I mean, brother?
Yeah. No, that's a great way of saying it.
What was
Definitely.
the physical stuff? Just to come back to the bike for a second, because like we can say, oh yeah, just keep going. Like quad chafe, foot problems. Because I was thinking, like you were just saying about, I was thinking about this as I was riding. I only learnt this through speaking to some ultramarathon runners. Like ultramarathon runners, they're like, oh, I have to get up every morning. I don't have to. I choose to get up every morning and I do my 4-hour run and then I go to work. And they don't listen to music because apparently they're not allowed to. And also they don't want to train their mind to rely on music.
Well, that's funny because I don't listen to music very often when I do an ultra run.
I
quite
think my
often,
brain would kill itself if I let it chatter away to me for longer than an hour. I think I'd end up
It's a
falling out
risk.
on myself and I'd be in some sort of weird like Fight Club scenario where I'm dragging myself down the stairs. I don't know what would happen, but I'm just too
Well, I
scared of
think
my own thoughts.
it depends where you are, though. I think if you try and do a marathon on a treadmill and no music or anything,
Very good
you'd
point.
go bonkers.
Very good point. Yeah,
But if you're running along a canal at sunrise and you've got the herons taking off around you and you've got the sun rising over there and there's a squirrel running in front of you, you've got these wonderful moments of nature that you're part of that you could quite easily ignore if you're head banging along to some bit of music. But if you just open that extra sense to what's around you, it's amazing. What a way to start the day. It's just that reset. And
I think,
so you don't need the music.
one of the guys who's a bit woo woo, some people don't like him, that I work with sometimes, he does a lot of walking. And he always sends me photos like when he's off on
Mm.
walks. And something he said the other day was like, he's quite religious as well. It was like, God paints a masterpiece for us every day, and very, very few people look up to see it. And I was like, that's not a bad way of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like he's like, people are looking at Instagram and all this sort of stuff. I'm just walking the sort of rural areas around me, and this stuff is beautiful.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
goddamn beautiful, and it's different every day. If you're actually really looking, it's different every day. And like, I imagine, the photo album that you have mentally from just that ride, or then, we'll go into the Black Sea or whatever. It's like that photo album must be
Oh,
colossal.
yeah. Yeah.
Best video montage ever living in your brain.
Yeah, but you can't express that. You can't share that.
Yeah.
In any tangible way.
It's only
in
a
your
lesson
head, like
you
you
can
say.
learn through experiencing.
Yeah.
Like even
Yeah.
every photo that's on your website, that's on your social media, is a poor man's cousin to what you actually saw there.
Yeah.
Do
Because
you know what I mean?
all you're seeing is the visuals. You're just seeing that snapshot.
Yeah.
You're not hearing it. You're not smelling it. You're not
Yeah,
feeling
that
it.
immersive experience of really being there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on day, I don't know, 12 of a bike ride, you wake up in your tent and you just unzip it, and then suddenly you feel that heat from the sun, that early morning sun. Everything's got a bit of dew around it, and you're just like, it's another day. Another day where I'm going to be cycling somewhere I've never been before. Who am I going to meet? And it's like all those sort of LinkedIn feelings that come with it that you can't
So
express through a photo.
what were the physical bits? Did you have any real? I mean, you said you're obviously knackered, but was there anything where you're like, oh, actually, my hamstring feels like it's going to snap? Or is there anything that you were particularly worried about, or had you taken any coaching? Because obviously you said you didn't do a lot of training, but was there any top tips that you took from people that had done a lot of cycling before?
No, I just winged it. This is kind of
Okay.
this is pretty much the theme of everything I've done.
I'll be
really.
honest, you're not going to make for an online coach. Just
Yeah.
there's no life
Maybe that's not for
hacks
me.
we're going to draw
Yeah.
from this one. People do though. They make a lot of money from complexifying things. I don't know if that's a word. Making
like
more
it.
complexity out of things that actually you could simplify down to simple resiliency and dogged,
Yeah.
just endurance for the mind.
Well, that's it. You could plan everything to an nth degree. You could plan, right, I'm going to go for a run. You could plan every single turn. You could load it up to your watch. It's going to tell you to turn left, turn right, do 100 yards, turn right. Or you could just put your trainers on and just head out.
My missus did that to us in Venice at the weekend, where our phones died because we forgot to plug them in because we had some intimate time the evening before and just forgot to plug our phones in. So they were dead in the morning. And we were in Venice though. Venice isn't that big.
No.
So she was like, why don't we just go for a walk? Because I remember like when we went to Rome, or even if you just go to London, like you could just probably turn most corners in London and go, wow, Jesus Christ. And like same in Rome, like there's a basilica around every corner. And
Stunning,
Venice,
isn't it? Yeah.
you could just wander down a random alleyway and you can go, this is so beautiful. Oh my God. You almost like living in high resolution that if you were slow mowing this recording down this one street as it opens up onto this canal and the gondola, and you're like, there's an amazing amount if you don't just overplan and overcomplexify and you just go, wow, oh my God, let's just have that one. This is about the wanderlust gene. Sorry, this is my ADHD. It goes in 1,000 directions. But like there's something called the wanderlust. I don't know if it's some bullshit, but like the wanderlust gene where like the gift of wandering and finding and creating and seeing, people have that. I think you probably have that. If it's even
I think
a
I
thing.
probably do. Yeah. When we go on holiday, like we're going to Panama in March, and we'll book the very first night because you've been on a long flight, you just want somewhere to bed down, and then after that we just wing it. And like lots of friends are going, but where are you going to stay?
I
don't know. We'll just figure it out. And because I could overbook it and book 3 nights in this place that sound amazing, but then get there and go, yeah, it's not very good, but I'm stuck here now.
Yeah, that's the biggest recommendation we've got for Thailand. When we're going to Thailand, people were just like, just book first night.
Yeah,
there's so much stuff like, they've got some general touch points like go just this city and then find out. Go to this city and find out because there's so much beauty all
We
over
did the
it.
same in Vietnam. It's just exactly that.
Yeah.
Just put the
Oh,
first light and then
Vietnam
just
was
wing it.
ridiculous. I went there with the SES Who Dares Wins lot,
Oh,
and
of course you did. Yeah,
that was that. I want to explore more cultures. So when you talk about going to different countries, sorry, we'll get back to the bike in a minute. When you go to different countries, it's nice to see a different country, but when you see a different culture, it's a very different thing. So that's when I think about places like Thailand, India, Vietnam, China. They live a different way.
yeah.
Like
Very
European
different.
countries live quite similar, but stuff looks different. The weather might be different.
Mm.
The buildings might be a bit different, but the culture's similar-ish. But when you go far enough, like the culture really changes. The whole
Yeah,
way
I
they think
mean,
about stuff is different.
like you would stand out. I mean, I'm 6 foot. You're a much bigger bloke than I am. In those
Yeah,
countries,
they think you're a
you
giant.
already look completely different.
Yeah, you're
Let
so
alone
out
the
of place.
culture.
But your
Yeah,
mannerisms are just weird as well for them. They're just
yeah.
doing weird shit.
So yeah, to be able to embrace those different cultures, it's exciting, isn't it?
It's
You're
amazing.
taking what is your norm, and you go, you know what, I'm going to
Yeah,
go here where I just stand out, but I'm going to have to try and fit in a certain way. And yeah,
yeah.
Vietnam was I
To, to
loved it.
to zoom back to before we started recording today, when you said about working in two different fire services, like even just from a local perspective, if you travel around all the fire services in the UK, I say it ad nauseum on the podcast, but I'm like, don't believe the expert in your service. It's a very small country. Go and find out for yourself. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
saying that person's
definitely.
lying. I'm just saying they've had one small experience and they might have forgotten half of it, or maybe they've never even been and you don't know. So, like, give someone a ring that works in Scotland, London, Merseyside, Manchester, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go and see them. Yeah. It's not very far. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
it's not. And
And then you go,
if you do
oh
training
no, that's
courses,
yeah,
you go do a training course with somebody from a different service, and they'll go, "Oh, what about this?" And you go, "What? Never even heard of that." But
yeah.
because I've always been told X, and they go, "Yeah, but we do Y." And you go, "Oh yeah, that's a really good
Yeah.
point."
And you know what? We're not killing firefighters every week. So when someone told you that's so
Yeah.
dangerous, you'd never see that in the UK Fire and Rescue Service, I'm like, okay, well, I was in Lancashire yesterday and they're actually doing it. Nobody died. Oh my God.
Yeah. Big news. No one died.
Shocker.
Cool.
No one
Yeah.
died. Anyway, so you decided to come back after the ride. You had to swallow that big humility pill, reframe success. And when did the Black Sea and Elbrus happen? The following year, you say?
The following year, so
Okay.
yeah, we got a new car, so I didn't trust that old one anymore. Got a proper 4x4 thing, and the people that originally were going to help me, they couldn't anymore. So just so happened that he then plays a much bigger um, story arc in my life. But a guy called Billy Taylor, who joined Berkshire from Oxfordshire, he'd rowed across the Pacific Ocean, and I heard about him. So I was like, "Oh, could you give me some tips about what I'm doing?" Because I haven't got a clue really. And so him and a guy called Barry, they helped me drive the boat to the Black Sea. So I wasn't going to do the cycle again. That was done. Just drive to the Black Sea. And, they put the boat in the water. It floated. Yay for me. And then they gave me a few tips on the setup of the boat. Cause like I say, I didn't have time to go through it. Like, I was like, I've got these bits of cord and plastic. Like, I think it's to do with the steering, but I don't really know how it's set up. So like, so they set all that kind of gear up for me. And, yeah, they had to leave before I set off because of the weather window. Met some awesome people. They went and drove to Georgia, dropped the car off, and flew home. And then it was me on the water. So yeah, that was June 2016. Yeah,
How safe is the Black Sea to cross? Because you said like he did the Pacific, and the very, 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 very small amount I've looked into this is the Black Sea is obviously different, but it's got like short, steep, quite chaotic waves versus
yeah,
other crossings.
it's all over the shop. And people in like the sailing people that I met in Burgas were like, "Are you sure? That the Black Sea's a crazy sea. It's so unpredictable." I'm like, "Is it? I
It's
don't
quite
know."
it's quite heavy commercial traffic as well, isn't it? There's
Yeah,
like a lot
huge
of
commercial
tankers.
traffic.
People don't
Yeah, yeah.
realize that about that. They think of the UK, France being the busiest shipping lane, which is very busy, but the Black Sea has a lot of tankers, container ships, naval
Yeah,
vessels
huge. When you think about the
that it's
countries that are
busy.
around it,
Yeah.
Russia, Georgia, Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania, Ukraine, there's some big countries there and a lot of
Mhm.
trade going on. Obviously, the political um, feeling around the area has probably changed since I
Yeah.
was there.
And there's not a lot of
Um,
bailout options. Like you can't
no.
once you've committed to certain stretches, um, you can't really just like there's no one there. You can't stop or help. You kind of got to get out of the way and keep moving.
Well, that's it. Like, when you say big shipping container like ships, they would come really close to me. So I had like an Echo Max, which is basically like their radar signal comes out, hits my booster, sends it back in a stronger signal to make
Yeah.
sure it comes up that I'm there because I'm such a small boat. So I didn't really know if that worked or not. It was on. I was pretty sure it was working. So then these massive boats are getting closer and closer. I'll
Yeah,
be
but
getting
did
on
you
the
see where
VHF.
they were other than physically seeing them?
No,
Did this
physically
didn't
it was all
display on
opposite.
like people have probably got a radar screen in their head with blips of a large boat.
Yeah, so on more modern ocean round boats, you'd have a screen, and we certainly did on the Atlantic, but I didn't have any of that. Literally, I had a compass in front of me, and I had a handheld GPS. So I would get my charts out, I'd find my signal, plot where I was, and then go, okay, I need to get to there within the next day. So I'd just get a bearing and then follow my compass, and that was that, and that's how I navigated on the Black Sea. Whereas on the Atlantic, you'd have an auto helm. You'd put it all in digitally. It would keep the rudder going in a certain direction, so it would keep you on that bearing. Nice and simple. Where I didn't have that. So equally, if you're going down a wave and you've got an auto helm, it will control like the direction. Yes, you'd have some
Oh
play with the
God, that's
oars,
got to be
but
so demoralizing.
when you're in my boat,
That's what I'm
literally
saying. Yeah.
you're going down a wave, and to stop yourself from turning, I'd have to let go one of the oars, grab this handle, hoik on it to keep the rudder in the right direction, to keep me in a straight
So you don't
direction.
capsize, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't roll. So then get to the bottom of the wave, drop that, grab the oar again, start rowing again until the
Oh
next wave,
my
and then do that
God.
again. So it was all very,
Could
very
you not
basic.
convince anyone to do it with you, or you just didn't fancy? You didn't want to.
I didn't want them. I didn't want to do any. I
Yeah,
wanted to
but
do
when you
this on
do
my
them
own.
solo, you drift off course so much in the night, don't you?
Sometimes you do, sometimes you make ground. It's whatever the conditions are going at the time. So I set off and I was rowing and everything was quite hard work. I was doing 2 hours on, 2 hours off because that's what I've been told ocean rows do. You row for
Yeah.
2 hours, you rest for 2 hours, 24 hours a day. Hated it. Horrible experience. Um, and it was really hard work. And then the winds changed direction and the wind was so powerful that I couldn't row against it. So you deploy what's called a para anchor, which is basically a massive kite. You deploy on a long line into the water, and then that slows your backwards
Just
progression.
holds you, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
well,
as much as
you'll
it
still go
possibly can.
backwards,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
But when
you'll
the
just
wind
go
hits the
slower.
boat, it would push it faster in that direction if it didn't have the
Yeah,
drag from the sea.
yeah, well, and the wind and the waves are pushing you in that direction anyway, but it's just slowing that down.
Ah.
And I was on that for 7 days, just being bounced around in my little cabin. I'd get out on deck, use the toilet bucket, and then just sit and watch like this scene unfold in front of me. It was incredible. It was breathtaking, like exhilarating, and you feel really close to nature and all that kind of stuff. But there was a moment where the line was deployed and the sea state changed. So the power anchor, the actual kite bit, was now coming out of a wave. And then I'd fly backwards, then it would catch the next wave and like really hoik the boat into like bang, and then it would do that again and again. So I knew if I let this keep on going, as strong as this boat was, it was going to cause damage. So what I had to do was get out, pull the line, collapse the kite, and pull the line in and retime my knots to change the distance from the boat, so it would then sit in the wave continually. And that was a moment where you had to kind of suck it up, and like I was tethered to the boat, but you had to take a few deep breaths because I knew once I started pulling that in, the boat would start turning.
Oh.
And then if it turned, then I'm in danger of rolling because I'm not face onto the waves. So
Mhm.
it's a case of get that line in as quick as possible. You start turning, you retie the line,
Mm.
redeploy it, get the kite back in the water, and then the boat comes around again. And that was a real like, holy shit, I am really out here on my own. This is
What was the rescue plan?
unnerving. I mean, I had a sat phone and an EPIRB. So
What's
if
an EPIRB?
It's basically like a beacon. You flip the switch and it'll come up, and everybody can see that this is where you are, and I need help. An SOS button, effectively.
And who
Like
was
all
going
boats
to
will have them.
launch to get you?
Uh,
I'm assuming you
you,
have to let people know that you're crossing.
yeah. So yeah, you put like a voyage plan in, but
Does
like
it have to
the
be
different
approved?
kinda, but I just kind of just got signed off. Like, yeah, you're a crazy Englishman. See you later. Um, and you'd hope that like one of the bigger ships passing by would sort of maybe would see it, or like one of the coast
Picks up
guards
the
from one of
distress
the
signal. Yeah.
yeah, basically all boats have them. So that was my plan,
I know,
really.
but people do die doing this stuff.
You do, yeah. I mean,
People
I had a life
will
raft.
remember the Ian Hughes 2023, wasn't it?
Hmm.
He tragically died
Yeah,
crossing the English Channel.
yeah,
I forget how old he was. He was about your age, wasn't he?
yeah. Slightly younger, I think. Yeah,
I think
but yeah.
I think he's in his 40s. He was West Mids
Mm.
firefighter. Um,
Incredibly fit, experienced swimmer. Is
that's just so horrible.
yeah.
Stuff like
And
that.
people
And
have
the
died
stuff like that
ocean
will
running.
convince people not to do it. Because
Yeah,
like
of
you
course.
say, fit, dedicated
Yeah,
firefighter,
you
or
can always find
just a
reasons
human
not.
being and a
Yeah,
father. I
you
think
can find
he had
reasons not
family
to
as
do
well.
something, can't you?
That's what
There's
I'm
always
saying.
there's always
Yeah.
something that will go. Yeah, but what if? Well, of course, there's always going to be that. If I go for a walk down to the shop now, what if?
I
You know?
know, but the cycle thing, less chance of dying.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'd say the ocean crossing, you know better than me. What the hell do I know? I think that the ocean maybe was the most dangerous. Would you
yeah.
agree?
I agree, because if you talk
No
about
one's
our
coming
own.
quickly, are they,
No, if
to
you
get
if
you?
you talk about our own job, about being a firefighter, we're a specialist rescue team, so we do the animal, water, and line alongside the regular fire engine.
Yeah.
And line rescue, rope rescue, yes, that could go very, very wrong. But
Mhm.
90% of those incidents are slowly planned and meticulously planned and triple checked and double checked.
Yeah.
And you can control those dangers, those hazards. Whereas water rescue, it can
Yeah.
change like that. Doesn't matter what planning you put on, you don't know when
Yeah, I
that
know.
thing's going to
Yeah.
change. And
I
that
remember when I
that
did my Swiftwater,
translates
it is the most. I think it's the most scary.
dynamic,
People
is
think
it?
going over the edge, oh, you can't switch gravity off. Yeah, I agree, but like you're in control of a lot of it, and like you
Yeah,
say, checking your anchors and top man and all the jazz. You jump into the water, yeah, okay, we've got a line, or you're doing a tension diagonal or whatever. But you're against nature, and nature can flip and turn, and you didn't see that thing underneath the water. Your legs stuck in the
exactly.
strainer, and you'll drown fast,
Yeah,
really
yeah,
fast.
yeah. Something's floating down the river. You didn't see it. The spotter didn't see it.
Yeah, spotter didn't see it. They forgot what the signal was. They couldn't get the whistle out the pocket quick enough. It
Yeah,
hits you dead. Game
yeah,
over. Find the
yeah.
body later, kind of thing.
Exactly. So
I think that's
you
why
take
it's the
that.
scariest thing that we do there. But yeah,
Yeah,
so I suppose you
I
take that
agree.
analogy and zoom it out, don't you?
Yeah, and it's just, yeah, I'm on my own. Yes, I've put in everything that I can think of that would be there should I have a problem, like the life raft, the airpub, and all that kind of stuff. But when those big tankers are getting close to you, and you think, "Have you seen me?" and you're getting the VHF going, basically forget all the proper um, formalities. You go, "Big boat, big boat, big boat." This is little boat, little boat, little boat. Have you seen me? Make sure you say
Yeah,
it three
but they
times, because
can't
that's what
slow
I've been
down
told.
fast.
Yeah. Well, they get really close, and you're thinking, holy crap, holy crap, holy. And then when they get close enough, you realise they're just intrigued. They're taking photos, they're waving at you, and you're like, oh, right, is that what it is? And you're like, oh, yeah, thanks for that. But they forget they're on this huge
I was
ship.
about to say the wake of their thing must
Oh,
cause you some
mate.
serious issue.
Oh, kicks you all over the place. And you're like trying to wave at me. You're like, hey, wait, oh my God, we're having a great time here.
Yeah,
But
and you're
you
just
do
like
get
going,
that.
wankers.
Yeah, yeah. And on the VHF, they 90% didn't respond, because they're on like an autopilot, and there's nobody actually in there listening, and they're just kind of looking at you. And other times they go, ha 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 ha, yes, we see you, and then off they go. You know,
Oh,
all right,
wow.
okay. So
I
you
bet
have
it's
that
scary in the middle of
engagement.
the night.
Yeah, the night.
Do you have a little
I really
light on?
enjoyed the
Or I
nights.
imagine, because the problem as well, I mean, there's so much in this. I imagine a lot of it's solar that charges during the day, because I see the
Yeah,
panels on the boats.
yeah,
But also,
yeah.
you don't want to
So
run out of, you know, energy and you don't run out of electricity. That's going to suck
No,
big time.
you don't. But like on my boat back then, because it was so simple, had very little power systems to charge really. So
Mm.
most boats will have a desalinator to make seawater drinkable. And I had a manual one of those as backup. But because my crossing was only relatively short, I had bottled drinking water in the bottom of the boat, which was served as my ballast should I
Mm.
roll to bring the boat round. So I didn't need any power for that.
How
I
much
didn't have
water
an
did you
auto
take?
helm. Oh, that's a good question. I
Round
think
there,
I,
thereabouts. What were
I
you
think I,
saying? So did you factor for 3 liters, 5 liters a day? How many was you trying to drink?
I factored for 3 meals a day, which is 500 mil roughly for each meal, and then probably 3 liters 4 liters of drinking water, I think. So it's a lot of bottles, and I can't remember how many days I budgeted for now. Probably like 40 days, probably enough water. So
And you said you did 29, did you?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I
That's
had
a
more than
lot.
enough. It's a lot of water. It's a lot of weight, but it's the ballast. So
Did you do any other like squash, electrolytes? Was it just water you were drinking?
I did have electrolytes. Yeah, electrolytes certainly broke it up. Sort of for every other bottle, I'd put an electrolyte tablet in.
Uh,
And food, it's just rubbish. Generally,
what was the
dehydrated
go-to
food is
food?
rubbish. So again,
What was the food?
so
Spaceman
it's those.
food, or was it a specific brand? Are you allowed to shout them
Yeah,
out? Were they
so
any
I
good?
had
Was it rubbish?
well, the one I had on the Black Sea Adventure Food, like the orange packeted one.
Okay.
Um, Really good. Loved it. Like the vegetarian noodles. I'm not veggie, but the vegetarian noodles is lovely. Really, really tasty.
Adventure Food is the brand, is
Yeah,
it?
Adventure. I
Okay.
think it's Adventure Nutrition, something like that. I'll
Okay.
have to double check it. But then we had another one on the Atlantic. Awful. Like they gave us all the food, so I can't criticize them too much because they gave us
You
everything and it was
can. If it
great.
wasn't very good, that's probably why I trying to
But
promote
my
it.
God, it was awful. It was it was so calorific that there was like an inch of fat. So you pour the hot water in, seal it up, and then you'd open it, and then an inch of fat that you have to break through to get through to the food. And then when you finish your meal, you rinse it in the seawater because you obviously can't throw the rubbish. You've got to keep the rubbish on board, so you want it as clean as possible. And you just
Yeah.
like it's almost like an oil slick behind the boat from the fat from this food. 'Cause it's all super 5,000-6,000 calorie packaged food,
Here we
and
are. Adventure
it's horrible.
Food, Dutch expedition nutrition brand. Around the world for decades, built for people who need reliable calories with minimal fuss. Freeze dried stuff.
Is that the orange packet one? Is it
Yeah.
orange? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Adventure
Really
Food.
good. Yeah, really
Nice.
tasty.
Fair enough.
And I met the guy who owns it actually at an expo, and yeah, really
Photos
nice
look
guy.
great. I bet they don't look like that.
I don't know. Some of them might do, but you have to mix it up. You can't just rely on that because if you're away doing something really hard, most people dream about that meal, that food that they really enjoy. So when you're out eating that food, you fantasize about what you're going to eat when you get onto land. You
Okay.
fantasize about that tasty burger, and that's all you can talk about. On the Atlantic, we talked about food so much because
Yeah.
you're restricted to these certain things. So taking things with you that you enjoy, you look forward to break it up are really important. They're those little wins. You go, okay, in 3 days, I'm going to have that can of macaroni cheese. On land, I'll be like, big deal. But in that moment, it's a
Yeah.
motivator. You look forward to it. So having those little things, you'd have snack packs as well, like chocolate bars, whatever. But um,
Yeah.
the nutrition's obviously
Buying
a
all of
huge
that
part
must
of
have
it.
been a ball ache as well. Because
Yeah,
all of these,
yeah,
again, is another big expense.
yeah.
Because I
I
suppose on the
basically,
bike, you're making it up as you go along because you can't carry it all. So
hmm
you're just kind of good days,
yeah,
bad stomach, good stomach. On the boat, it is, I am committing to this food all this time and hoping my guts don't rot or give
yeah.
up or I don't have some random issue. Did you take stuff for sickness?
Yeah, you try and cover all bases. I went to the GP and got some antibiotics that would cover all kinds of things and trying to like describe this is what I'm doing. What can I take to cover everything? Um, I,
What did he
Luckily,
give
I've
you?
got a pretty. Hmm?
Calpol? What did he give you?
Yeah, I can't remember. They're still in a box upstairs. They're well out of date, but I kind of hold on to them. You never know.
But they'll have a
Um,
spicy kick to them.
yeah,
Have
yeah,
them on a Friday night
undoubtedly now.
from
Yeah.
pre-drinks.
I'm I'm pretty lucky that I've got quite a sturdy stomach that it rarely,
Yeah,
and I didn't really get seasick or anything like that. You
good.
take all those pills because you
Yeah.
never know. But I was quite lucky with the food, and yeah, you just kind of get used to it. You know, you just look forward to the real food you get on land. But
What were you wearing for it?
so you heard stories about, or you probably hear stories about people rowing naked because they don't want chafing.
Yeah.
I did try that, not for me. I just I just wore basically some like cycling like lycra shorts, compression ones, and some normal shorts on top, and that would be pretty much it. Some people wear gloves. It's not for me. I'd rather get those blisters and like build up the hard skin, the calluses early doors, and then just roll with it. Um, if anybody's listening that I work with will know that I'm terrible for wearing my gloves at work, so
You just never
it's not
bother.
my favourite.
You just
Yeah,
never
it's
bother.
just no. I find the dexterity goes, and my mind goes, get that job done, and then you do a DRA, and you go, okay, I really should
Yeah.
wear gloves at this point, but I'm always being shouted at for wear your gloves, Butler. But that's a separate thing. So I was never
Real
going to
world
wear 'em while
problems.
rowing.
What about your
Um,
arse?
Sore, lose it. You don't have one when you finished. But
Okay.
it's the same as riding a bike every day for 18 days. That first 10 minutes of sitting on the saddle, you're like, oh, yee. You kind of get like that bruising, and you're
Yeah.
losing all the meat, and then you get salt
Oh,
sores as
really?
well. So it's imperative that you make sure that every stint you've done at the oars, you then just have a little bit of a wet whitewash, all those areas, you know, the classic areas under your armpits, in the groin, your butt crack.
All the
Try and keep,
bacteria.
yeah, keep
Yeah.
the bacteria at bay as best you can.
Do you Vaseline it up? Do you not bother? Is that a
So
myth? Does that work?
no, I swear by a company and a product called Bum Butter.
Bum
Um,
butter.
yeah, it's basically designed for cyclists as a anti-chafing cream, but
That
I've
is
used
gonna
it.
be the clip that we use. I love a bit of bum butter. Me and the lads on watch. It's the go-to one when we need
Oh
a
yeah.
morale lift post incident.
Honestly, anybody
Someone
that I've
grab the bum
introduced to Bum
butter.
Butter, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is the gear." Yeah. So I've used it on my feet, on my arse, my hand. I've used it everywhere. It's just an anti-chafing cream. It's brilliant, and that's what I use. But
Bum butter.
yeah,
I'm gonna try and remember that one. I will genuinely, no BS. We'll try and link some stuff there because people that are thinking about anything like this, I genuinely believe they will be frantically taking notes, trying to
yeah, and that's
remember
pretty
all of
memorable
these
name.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll try and do all of them. We'll throw this transcription through something afterwards and try and get some brands out for people. So did you capsize at any point?
No, I didn't. I wanted to in a
Why?
perverse way because it's part of the story, isn't it? You know,
No.
if you just go and do something and nothing happened and you completed it, it's like, oh, okay. But if you capsized, then
No,
there's a
I think
story
this on
there.
its own people will still find pretty ridiculous. I don't think you needed to fight a lion halfway or capsize or shark jump over the side. I think without those things, it's still relatively impressive, mate.
Yeah, that's right. I get. Yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? I suppose. Yeah, I
You
wanted
didn't
to, but I
capsize. Good.
imagine. Yeah,
Yeah. You know
I
what?
do
Fair play
remember
to you, mate,
using a
because you could have just
rolling.
lied. You could have said, yeah, we
I
did.
could have done. Yeah,
No one would
yeah,
know.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah. I fought off a shark while underwater as the boat was
Yeah.
rolling. Yeah. Are there sharks in the Black Sea?
No one
No.
knows. They would just say yes.
Yeah.
You know when you tell someone like, "Oh, there's 4 billion stars in the sky," and they go, "Yeah, probably." Do you know what I mean? That you tell someone they go sea shark. Yes, of course. There's
Yeah.
sharks in all the
Yeah.
sea. That's why
Must be.
people won't go in any sea. Some people they're like,
Yeah.
"I'll get eaten by a shark," and you could say, "Well, there's
It's
no sharks in
unnerving.
this one." They'll go, "Yeah, there is." You know what's
Yeah.
weird about the sea? I know nothing about the sea, but it's the idea that when you go to the zoo, there is a cage or a screen between you and the gorilla. But when you go to the ocean, people will say, okay, yeah, but it's salt and there's different currents. But for all intents and purpose, it's just open water between me and a great white shark. There might be a lot of open water, but there's no wall at any point that stops that shark eventually getting to me. And I know people
No.
will say they can't survive in certain oceans, but that's not enough of a cognitive belief for people to go, there's literally just water. If it swims far enough, it will get to me and I'm dead.
And I tell you what, when we were midway through the Atlantic and we all went for a swim, diving into the water, like
No.
you got 3,000 foot below you or something, you can see 2 meters before it gets
There
super
they be
dark.
monsters.
Yeah, and your imagination takes hold, and
Of
you
course it does.
dive in.
Logic goes out the window.
Absolutely, yeah. I haven't seen a shark at this point in the ocean row. There's probably not going to be one as I jump in. but I'm going to come
Until
out
you
that
hit the
water.
water, and then you go, it's definitely a shark.
Yeah, and you
What
go,
the hell was that? What was
you
that?
come out, you grab hold of the boat. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still alive. I haven't lost my legs. I'm
I
okay.
have it
but
when you go on just the day trips when you're on holiday and you dive off the boat and you swim around and you swim away from it a bit and you're fine until you start swimming back towards the boat. And then all of a sudden you start swimming faster because you're like, I'm not looking behind me. Like, what's everyone waving at? What's the no, and you just start swimming faster for no reason. No reason. No reason. Except your mind is horrible. It is so horrible to you.
yeah, it's so horrible that it will stop you doing things.
Yeah.
Because it's playing out all these scenarios in your head, these worst case scenarios, and you go, "Oh, you're right. I
And
better
social
not do
media
that."
makes it even worse these days.
Of course, yeah.
Like you see there was a guy, his son. I saw a clip the other day. His son's getting eaten, or he gets bitten and dies. Surrounded by people. Shark gets this kid, and it's just horrible. And you immediately go, "Yep, that's in all the water. It's everywhere. There's loads of them. You can't see them, therefore they're there. Something about the darkness, isn't it? Like, I think that's what it is as kids. It's the unknown. I can't see it.
Yeah. As a kid,
be
in the
nothing,
dark,
might
the
be
deep
something.
end. Yeah, in the deep end of a swimming pool, I'd swim super fast through that because it was
I
dark. It was like one of
know.
those with the dive board, so it was really deep.
Oh, it's
And I'd be
ridiculous.
like, okay, there's a secret door in the side of this where there's a shark that the bad guy's going to
Of course
release.
there is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I've seen
They
enough
do it on
films. There's
purpose.
definitely one there. Yeah.
So you didn't swim in the Black Sea and you didn't capsize. I don't want to get to the Atlantic yet because I don't want us to not give all of these their entirety, and then whether it takes us 20 hours or 10. We've been going for an hour and a half already. Jesus Christ. Black
It needs
Sea.
mediting.
You got to the end of the Black Sea, and was the climb still on for this one? What's the break in time? Who met you at the end of there? Where did the boat go? Did you just set fire to it and say it wasn't mine? no one knows.
Would have been a good idea, really.
Have you still got it?
No, it's out in America now with this couple that wanted to buy it. But arrived in Batumi in Georgia, and the guy who was looking after the trailer for me, he came out with the Coast Guard. I came in and actually there was like a rip that I couldn't quite cross, but to get the record I needed to touch land without any other interference. So headed to this pontoon, tied it up to the pontoon, jumped in the water, swam to the beach, come back, and then I was like, yeah, now I'm stuck here. So the Coast Guard had to come and get me. So they towed me out of this pontoon and into the marina. And then the camera crew from the local news company were like, yeah, can you just go back out and row in on your own? So for the camera, I was like, yeah, no worries. Of course I can. And it was all quite surreal. Came in and they videoed and they're all talking Georgian, and one guy's translating for me, and then I have to go through like the passport control, come down specifically to see me and like stamp everything. And then I'm literally just finished. I stink. I'm starving, and I'm being sat down with this news anchor who's asking me questions.
Stupid thing you need to remember. Have I got my passport?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't even think about that. You forget. I would forget.
Thankfully, it's one of the things I did remember.
You must have the checklist of all checklists.
Yeah. I've got, probably 150 of the things, but I can never find it when I want it.
So they came, they met you, film crew, didn't understand a word of it.
Yeah, did an interview, blah, blah, blah. And then I got taken off and like shown around the town. I was like, I just want some food. And then Michael, the guy who was sort of looking after me, he let me stay on his boat, a bigger boat with a shower and all that kind of stuff. Just filled myself with food. And then I had like 2 or 3 days just trying to sort of recover, get the boat out of the water and back onto its trailer. And then caught a train over up to Tbilisi and then over into Russia, shared cars with people that I met behind like outdated ruined buildings in southern Russia, and thinking, what the hell am I doing? Got across the border.
So you were just thumbing a lift there. That was the transport.
Well, yeah, it was like early kind of Uber, but you kind of all share, so they fill up a car and then do the crossing. So I was in this car with some other Georgians, and we got to the checkpoint in the mountains to cross into Russia, and they were like, just I'll do the talking, don't worry about it. And then
did you already have your bag of stuff for the climb? Sorry.
So yeah, I had most of my gear. Yeah.
Was
So
that on
was
the
in
on the mate's boat, or was that in your car?
Yeah, so that was in the car that with the trailer. They left that there, so I could pick that up, so I could carry it over. And yeah, the Russian border police are like convinced I was CIA, or I'm like, well, I'm English for starters, so probably not CIA. But um,
Yeah, that's what you want us to think.
yeah, so thankfully there were
That's what
Georgians
someone
in
in the
my.
CIA would say.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I've read some Tom Clancy
Sleeper
books. I
cell.
know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But basically, the people in my car cleared it for me, like explained who I was, what I was doing. So
Yeah.
I got
Now, we
across,
met
no
him an hour
problem.
ago. He's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
He's our
he's
best friend. We
sound.
know him.
Yeah. So I mean, that was all an adventure in itself. There's so much to that, but it's just a small facet of the whole story.
So were you meeting someone for the climb? Were you going to do it
So yeah,
yourself? Because what's the time window? You must be, it's all well and good going, I'll just catch a lift with someone, but what if I can't? I've got a time,
well,
climbs have time windows, don't they?
yeah, they do.
Seasons.
So I had to meet a guide from a company called Adventure Alternative. So there was another group of other people coming from different parts of the world, all joining us for the journey.
Uh,
So yeah, met them, and then we went and did some acclimatization climbs, got to know each other. All the time, I'm just in shorts because it's sunny. Like, you're at the bottom of the mountain, it's beautiful. Like, southern Russia is so far removed from the image that most of us have of Russia. It's unbelievable. I had to question myself. Am I dreaming? Is this Russia? Because I was in a
yeah.
village with trams and coffee shops and live music and craft stalls, and it was
Russia's
sunny.
getting a really bad press at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, it
I
is.
think
And
the
don't get me
tourism's
wrong,
going to struggle for a bit.
yeah,
For
but it's
probably
such a
a
huge
few years.
country that it's such a huge country that it varies. You know, from
People say that about
Devon.
America, where they're like, what's
Yeah,
America like? And you're like, be specific.
yeah,
Where are you
exactly.
on
Yeah,
about? Because it's
yeah,
massive.
yeah.
Like, the culture's different everywhere.
And Russia probably to even bigger degree, but
Russia's
I
huge.
still, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just look at a map, it's unfathomable how big it is. And
Uh,
the little bit that I saw was 80% not what you picture, and then the other 20% is what you picture. It's grey
mm,
buildings, it's dark, it's gloomy, it's miserable, and there's
yeah.
those vast spaces of nothing in
Yeah.
between the settlements.
So,
Um,
given that the row was equally, if not more, petrifying, what was the decision? Climbs are a bit more controlled, I would imagine, then, because you say like you went with this adventure alternative,
yeah, so on, yeah,
yeah, which is a professional, disciplined, sort of structured, safety led expedition, isn't it? It doesn't take away
yeah,
from how difficult it was for you or
no,
anybody that did it with you, but that bit was probably a much smarter move because
definitely,
climbing,
yeah.
yeah, climbing is, yeah, like I'm trying to wrap my head around it because it's less likely someone will save you on the ocean, but in the same way, if you get lost on a mountain, it's equally probably as hard for people to get to you.
It is, and you don't realise you're actually on a fine margin. So, actually, on the descent from our summit day or morning, me and these two other English people, we went off. We were like, "Yeah, we're getting down, and then got caught in a whiteout, and we didn't really know where we are. And you got like snowmobiles coming out of nowhere. You're like, "Holy shit!" And it was only when you look
Mm.
back we were actually really close to the edge, and we didn't appreciate it. So and that's when
Which
most
summit did
accidents
you do?
happen.
Did you do the west or the east?
The West.
You did the west summit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was amazing. But I'm glad I went with an organised team because one, I'd been on my own, and it was nice to be around other people
Yeah, I bet.
and sort of have conversations and chat and share the experience. Um, and two, I could just not switch off because it's a dangerous place to be, but I knew I was being guided. I just had to get my head down, get that ice axe in the snow, and just go. And then I was fueled by the fact that I'd been planning this for so long, and I had all these ups and downs and things go wrong, and here I was about to get to the summit. I was about to stand and look down on everybody in Europe. I was as high as you could possibly be, and that fueled
Yeah.
me. And on that summit morning, it was like minus 23 or something, and like my beard that I'd grown on the road frozen to my snood, and I was having to defrost it with the steam from my coffee, and like it's just. And I got to the top, and then just this compulsion to take off my shirt. I mean, it was
I
cold,
saw it. Yeah, that's
but
we'll,
I was
we'll
like,
share that
"This is
photo.
like
Well,
this
we'll share your website. People can see them all. But yeah,
that
I like your
release."
tattoo, by the way.
I've
When
got
did,
a few more since then, but
when did
yeah,
you get that
cheers.
that, that chest piece?
That was in Rotorua in New Zealand.
That's a really cool piece, mate. Looks really good.
Yeah, there's lots of meaning and stories and little facets to it.
My tattoos
Um,
are all rubbish. They do mean something to me, but none of them make any sense these days. They're just they should be for you, I think. But yours, it looks really cool.
yeah,
Um,
and subsequently on tattoos, like my arm, my right arm now, it's got imagery from all the different journeys.
I hope
So
you've left some
there's
space.
well, there is, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to do my left arm at
Yeah,
some
the
point, I
left
think.
arm.
But
Still young in the big game here. So you did the West Summit, didn't you? You said.
yeah,
Yeah, so you did the West Summit. So I'm just looking at it now. There's Mir, Garabashi at 3.8, and then you've got Shelter Maria. Pastukov Rocks is the last stop, is it? Before you then do the long summit climb?
yeah. So you're in like the saddle, and then you sort of climb up.
Yeah, that
Um,
last bit looks really steep.
yeah, yeah, and but
Yeah, you sit
no,
in the saddle
yeah,
between the East and the West Summit.
yeah,
I bet it's
yeah.
cold in there, though, because I bet the wind whips through it.
Yeah, really cold. We paused there for a little drink, and that's where I was defrosting my beard actually. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's the last bit. You know, it's kind of there's no vivid memory of that last sort of bit up to the very summit because you just
Okay.
like your head down and you just like I'm in this zone. I'm almost there. You're trying to take in the scenery and like the enormity of it, but you just like just get to the top, just get to that top, and just let it all go. And it
This
was amazing.
one, again, like I say, it's the highest one in Europe, but you don't need to do oxygen supplementation with this sort of one, do you?
No,
It's right
no.
on, you can get away with that altitude
Yeah,
without bottled
and
oxygen, I
it's
think.
yeah, and it's a sort of steady climb as well. Like Killy, you go from 0 to 100
Hits
very,
a
very quickly.
vertical fast,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Whereas
Which
you're
is very
already
much
in
a
the
climb. Some of this
yeah,
looks like a climb, though. Some of it looks like a hard ass walk. Not
yeah,
walk, but you know what I'm saying.
yeah. Yeah, let's call it a walk, it's what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's beautiful, it's cold, it's exhilarating,
What
and
do you
yeah,
wear for it? I can see
well,
you in your obvious, like, it looks like ski gear. But
yeah,
I've never wrapped
it's
my head around anything like those sorts of climbs. I do hiking,
layers,
which is
layers really.
everybody does hiking. But you're not really you're usually taking stuff off because you're a bit warm. Whereas this, you said like you get into -20s.
Yeah.
That's
You,
I think different game in terms of clothing.
Yeah, and I didn't really have any specialist gear. I had a North Face jacket that I bought online that was just something you'd see somebody walking down the street in the winter here, let alone like up a
Really?
mountain. Yeah, and I was in a shop in I don't know, probably Georgia or Tbilisi before I left, just like in a sports shop trying to buy a few extra bits 'cause I didn't really have enough, and I just hadn't thought about it enough, and just thought, oh, okay, I need some trousers or something.
What do you wear on your
Um,
feet?
I just had some Scarpa hiking boots, which had like the little
Hiking boots.
divots. They had little divots though for you to put crampons, like
Yeah.
external crampons to attach to it. So they were kind of the right thing, and they were really comfy actually.
They don't get
And they were
wet.
fine. But yeah, well, they were sort of Gore-Tex kind of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, get a bit damp, but you know, wet feet's wet feet. Just deal with it, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just talking the myths and the mystery of frostbite always worries me a little bit.
Yeah, I think if it had been an extended crossing of the Arctic,
Mhm.
I'll probably get better gear. But for a commercially accessible climb up a mountain, I didn't worry about it too much,
How long
really.
did it take to up and down?
I think with all the acclimatization, I think we were on the mountain for 10 days.
10
You could do it a
days.
lot quicker. You could do it a lot quicker, but
But
um,
still, that's incredible. That
yeah,
must have been a
it
really euphoric, tearful moment to finish.
yeah. I think you can see that in the picture of me with my shirt off and my dreadful suntan lines that I've got going on there from sitting in a boat every day. You can just almost feel the emotion coming out the photo. I think certainly that's how I
Yeah.
relate to it. But then it was a mad dash home. After that, it was get down the mountain, um, celebrate, and then I got back to Tbilisi, where one of my best mates, you know, those people that you phone when you need to hide a body, kind of
Yep.
people. Mate Rudy, he flew out. We had a day in Georgia, drinking, celebrating, and then we basically just drove home back to work. We had like 48 hours more or less to get back to work. and
Wow.
then got
Have a
home.
shave and back on parade.
Yeah, back on parade. Yeah, and that's how I like to do it. Like you take all those there's lots of mini adventures where you
Yeah.
have your 4 days off, and you think, what can I do in those 4 days?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah. And there's
cram
levels
it
to it.
in.
There's levels
Yeah,
to
and then
that.
that last morning, I'm cycling into the yard at 8:45. Like, I made it. Quick shave on parade, and people are like, that was close. I'm like, yeah, it's good that I'm here though. Yeah, it's fine.
Jesus. I always think of this concept of outliving people. And I think you're someone that's outlived a lot of people. And what I mean by that is it ain't nothing to do with age.
No.
How much have you lived? How
Yeah.
much of this juice are you trying to squeeze out of that tube? You're trying to squeeze all that. You're trying to snap the spine of it and suck the juice out. Do you know what I mean? Because we want it. How much
You
of it do you
want it,
want? You know?
and you don't know when it's going to end. When's this roller coaster going to end? You've got absolutely no idea. You might
And
have
I
all these
think the,
grand
the
plans.
more that you do, the more you realize you could do as well. And I don't
Yeah.
mean like, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
some people might take that perception as business, they might take it as whatever, but I just mean like, the more places that you go, the more things you see, the more you realize. I think the same with knowledge. Like, the more, what did someone say to me? They were like, the more your island of knowledge expands, more the shore of ignorance does as well. Like, the more
Ooh,
you
deep.
realize, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until you go to that country, until someone hears your story today and goes, "Oh wow, I'm barely scratching the surface." Do you know what I mean? Of my potential. And I go, "Yeah, but surely someone did all the prep." And then Scott goes, "I mean, I kind of just threw the boat in. I hadn't actually done any training at that point." And then and you're like, "Oh right, damn." Do you know what I mean?
Sounds reckless.
Yeah, but it also strips away so much of the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. If I had time, resource, endless money,
Mm.
whatever. Do you know what I mean?
It's like anything. If you want it enough, you'll find a way. You know, people say, "Oh, yeah, I don't have time to train." Well, people just get up earlier. You know,
Yeah.
you're here talking with me, but you've already been to the gym. You know, some people are, "Oh, I
Mm,
can't, I wouldn't have enough time. I need to do that a bit later when I've got a nice." You know, not everything's perfect. You can't. It doesn't all just fit into this wonderful narrative. You just have to
yeah.
go, right. Okay, I need to find. I'm gonna have to just head off and go and do that. Make time for it and get it done. So
I
it's how you
often say
approach
to
it.
people, don't make good the enemy of perfect. Because actually
Don't make good the enemy perfect.
yeah, because most
Mm.
people wait for a utopian solution when
Mm.
realistically, if you look close enough into most people's stories of success, they've just taken the 80% every time and rolled it. Like, they've just, progress is the metric, always
Mhm.
forward is the narrative. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most of your story so far is just failing forwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Boat wasn't going to make it. This didn't work. Couldn't get the special sat nav thing and just did this instead. Do you know what I mean? I had to swim back out from the shore to get my, it's just a series of always forward. And I say that as a compliment because
Yeah, no,
most
take it
people
that
will
way.
take those, most people will take those as a reason not to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I probably pre I don't know, pre-fire service, pre-motorcycle accident, I don't know. I probably would have done the same thing. Well, yeah, can't do it. It's too hard.
How old were you when you joined the fire service?
24.
What had you done before that? What was the are you supposed to do this at the beginning of a podcast? I never follow the goddamn themes.
Yeah,
Like,
it's,
who were you as a teenager?
teenager, I said I was a fat, shy kid. Played lots of sport, not very good at them, but played lots of sport. And then went to college, studied law for a year, realised that that's actually really, really hard. So I was never going to be the new Tom Cruise in the military.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, I was also studying like film and TV, and then got to the end and thought, why did I do that?
Do you have
I
any
was a Saturday.
siblings?
Yeah, I've got 2 sisters and a brother. I'm the eldest.
Okay.
Um,
Without peering too much into their life, are they as weird as you?
no, no,
No.
we're all very different. My the next sister down, Kate, she's got a little boy, a family, and so they live their life.
Hmm.
My half sister and half brother, um, my brother, he's part of this narrative in a way. He's 14 years younger than me.
Does he
He was
like
a
bum
bit.
butter as well?
Yeah, he does now.
Hey.
Yeah. He was a bit of a
Me and my
bum,
brother
funny
do
enough.
everything together.
Yeah.
Everything together. He's a great kisser.
Well, no, actually, because there's such a big age gap,
Yeah.
he smoked too much weed. He's going to be a DJ. He's going to be a motorbike mechanic. Didn't really know what he was going to do. And he said to me one day, he said, "Bro, I want to do a journey with you." And I was like, "Okay, no problem. I'll come up with something." So I said, "Okay, what we're going to do is get these micro scooters, these kick scooters, and we're going to go 422 miles across Italy wearing backpacks and capes." And he's like, "Yeah, okay." Never really thought too much about it. Day two, he won't mind me saying he was crying. He's like, "Oh, I can't do this. You're tougher than I am. I
Oh,
need to
bless
go
him.
home." Gave him the chat. I said, "Look, you're not listening to me. You're not eating any food in the morning. You're not putting any fuel in your body for like 35, 40 miles of kick scooting in Italy in the heat." Um, Gave him the chat. I'd broken him basically, and I built him back
Yeah.
up. Next morning, he listens to what I'm saying. We do the rest of the journey. I'm the one with stitches in my face, and he's untouched. And we get to the end, and everything's great. 2 weeks later, he phones me out. He says, "I realise I'm actually quite capable. I'm going to join the army." And I was like, "Come again? What? Where did this come from?" So now, he's got promoted a few times. He's got a wife. He's got a kid, and he's doing really well.
Fair
And
play to him. What
yeah,
an awesome bloke.
exactly. And if
Nice.
you could take away any of my records of achievements, like helping being that one tiny little facet of helping my brother find a future for himself and a direction. That's
hmm
the biggest achievement for
hmm
me.
For
And
you,
it's
but
really not.
also for him. And he had to do that. None of this. Obviously, I don't know your brother, but on his behalf, he had to choose to do that as well.
You did,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because how many? I think I even said it to you for God's sake. The first time we chatted, I think I was like, "Dude, I'm fancying this. I'm fancying that." Yeah, right. Well, I didn't do it, did I? You know what I mean? I went and did my other stuff, and other people go, "Oh, well, that'd be hard on yourself, Pete. That was still as impressive." But my constant torture with the privilege of doing this is I meet and talk to so many incredible people, and they do make me a better person. You make me a better person having this conversation and just giving me this insight into your world, and I appreciate that. But it also comes with the double-edged sword of feeling like a bit of a pussy all the time. You know what I mean? And I do stuff, and I have done other stuff, and I still want to do stuff. And before we just carried on again here, we exposed how much younger I am than you, despite the fact I look older. And it's
That's
up
my
to you where
perspective.
no, it's a lot of people's perspectives. It's up to me where I am in my story, and you and everyone listening to this. Do you know what I mean? Is this the start? Is it the end? Is it the beginning of the end of everything's the beginning of something new? Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
And life has whatever chapters you want to write, really. But I find these conversations so motivating. You know what I mean? They're just, for me, just having the conversation with you, it's like a treadmill conversation. We'll probably end up talking for 2.5 hours, and I was probably ready to run through a wall at the end of it. Do you know what I mean? Because it fills you up. It fills
yeah,
you up.
hopefully, yeah.
If you can have the humility to swallow it and go, wow, Scott's story is one. But I want to flip it for a second,
hmm
if you will permit me to. What is the dark side of this before we get into the next layers? So, like, people's talk about bright light, dark shadow. What's been
Uh,
the cost?
that's pretty. It's hard to say. Really. It's not. It seems shallow for me to say that I've not thought about that.
Okay,
Um, because there's always a cost to these things,
always.
and the cost would be I've spent less time with my wife.
Okay,
But I like to think we got the balance right. That we don't have kids, so if I'm not doing one of my challenges or training, we'll go and travel. We'll go on holiday.
was it a
And it's
conscious decision not to have children without getting too personal?
yeah, very much like the first date. Louise was like, "Just so you know, I don't want kids." I was like,
Okay,
"Okay," and that's who we are. And I think on a deeper level, you will probably miss out on certain things by not having kids. But
and people that
I
have kids
like
will
to,
also miss out on stuff. I've got a daughter.
yeah, exactly.
She's
You can't
one of the
have
best things in my life, one of the
everything.
best creations. But there's no solutions, only trade-offs.
Yeah. You
Everything is
can't
a
have everything.
trade-off. You just don't. Me having this conversation with you right now is an unconscious decision not to be doing the other 1,000 things I could be doing with my time right now.
Yeah.
And but we all get that choice. It's whether you're making it consciously or whether you're just stumbling through blindfolded going, oh, I am a leaf in the wind of life at the constant, effect of everything around me. Well, that's because you're not even holding the goddamn steering wheel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
And I think a lot of
Yeah.
people do that and fumble through and they've done something, but they're like, I don't even know if that was my decision. I mean, I don't know if I even wanted to be a doctor. I don't know if I even wanted to be a whatever,
Mm.
Some people get promoted and I speak to people at different levels of organizations and sometimes after the chat, when we just do the little sort of wrap up offline, sometimes it's a bit morose. Sometimes often it's not.
Mm.
But sometimes if they've retired, sometimes they might have a reflection period of, I think that last bit was like bullshit. Like, I'm not even sure what I was doing for them. Not like the
Wow.
conversation, but like
Yeah. Yeah.
some of them have a reflection on their career and go, I think I was just treading water for the last 10 years. I don't think I wanted to do it. Actually, a lot of them say like the best time I had was when I was on station.
Yeah. And I'll argue
You
with that
hear
with a
that,
lot of
don't you?
people. Yeah.
You get
Yeah. And
that. They're like, I never should have left the
there's,
watch.
and it goes with being your career, it goes with life. There's a certain narrative that people expect you to follow. They expect you to find somebody, get married, have a kid,
Do the
blah, blah,
blueprint.
blah, blah. Yeah. Same with the fire service. You've done it so many years, you should probably go for a crew manager position. Well, I might like to think I could do it, but I don't want to
Yeah.
do it. I love being a firefighter. I
Yeah.
love being slightly blunt, sharp end of the stick. I like to be the one who's kicking in the doors and things like that. And
You
I think,
know the overtold story of the fisherman, don't you?
remind me.
The fisherman who goes out every day. He fishes for an hour or two in the morning, catches just enough, sells a bit at the market, and then he has the whole afternoon off. And he goes with his wife to the friend's house. They cook their own fish, and they just spend time with their friends and family. And he meets a businessman from America, and the businessman goes, "Whoa, like you're onto something here. You realize if you got a bigger boat, you could earn more fish, sell it at market and make more money." And he goes, "Why would I do that?" And he goes, "Well, once you've done that, you could buy a fleet of boats and then you could manage the team that does that fleet of boats, make even more money. And then eventually you could get your own factory and you could start packaging the stuff. And then at some point, maybe in 10 or 20 years, you could float that on the stock exchange." And he's like, "Well, why would I do that?" Because this is the best bit. After about 20, 25 years, you float it on the stock exchange, you sell it for millions, right? And then you could just fish for pleasure if you wanted to. And then you could literally like probably stop, like just finish at like 11 in the morning, just spend time with your family and your friends. And he's like, "But I do that now." You know what I mean? And that's the
Exactly
old
that. Yeah.
overtold narrative where someone goes,
But it's
when you
true.
finally get to the senior leadership team, like your time's your own, you can take a couple of days off, and you're like, I do 2 days a week now, basically,
Yeah.
and then 2 nights and I'm just off on my own. And they're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, but you get paid a lot more money." And I'm like, "But I've got no time."
Yeah. And that's it. It's the payoff, isn't it?
It's no solutions, only trade-offs. I'm obviously saying this from a bias of a watch manager in the UK Fire Service. I fancy stuff. Sometimes I flirt with the idea of up, down, sideways, you know. But I kind of enjoy what we're doing now. We're recording this in the middle of the week. It's a Wednesday. Do you know what I mean? It's the middle of the day. Been to the
Yeah.
gym this morning. Had some nice food. Seeing my daughter this afternoon. I don't know.
And that's what it's
I don't
about.
know.
It's the shift pattern, isn't it? It's just a shift pattern. And you go to work and you probably with mates, enjoy your job, and then you
Yeah.
finish. And certainly from a firefighter's point of view, 90% of the time you finish and then you just forget about it.
Yeah.
You go out, you go home, and then you get all that time off, and then you take
Yeah.
4 days off, and then you got 12 off. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So,
It's the best kept secret of first responder, isn't it?
God, yeah.
So that was the remarkable. Apologize if it's. I don't apologize for anything. Like I love learning about that, to be honest with you, because the stuff that's on your website doesn't really hold a candle to the true story. But this has not been the end of the story at all. You've just alluded to scooting across Italy. How do you come up with some of this stuff?
A lot of people ask that, and it's just looking at maps, looking at places I've never been, looking for anything that's human powered that I can test myself, engage people with, and always looking for that something that, I don't know, the X factor, that's something different, whether it be a skateboard, whether it be roller skates, whether it be running with a trailer or a wheelbarrow, or like going somewhere really cool, or, it's just finding a reason to go from A to B. Like, why pick that place to go to, or why pick nowhere to go to and just head north? There's just different ways of doing it, really, and it's just, yeah. What I found very early on after the Elbrusing was people would go, "That was really cool. What's next?" And
Yeah.
that became like the mantra. It was always, "What's next?" There was very little time to reflect on what had happened or what I'd just done. It was always,
Yeah.
"But what are you going to do next?"
It wasn't the Italy
So
one though, was it? Was it the ultras next?
So the Marathon des Sables was next,
Yeah.
um, because I wanted to just sign up to a race. I don't do races very often because I don't see the point. I can just go and do my own thing. But
Okay.
I wanted to just sign up to something really hard, but something I could just train for, turn up, here's a start line, there's a finish line, and do. And I loved it, and it was amazing. If anybody's done it before, then you understand. It's ridiculously hot, but the camaraderie of the people in your tent that you've never met before is brilliant. Keeps you going. You see some crazy people. You see the elite runners, and you see the people at the back of the pack. It's an all inclusive race. It's brilliant. But it was nice to just turn up and do it.
There has, it is, it's very difficult though. I know I keep saying that about all the stuff that you do, but somebody died, didn't they, recently? Like
Yeah,
2021.
yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah. So it was day 3 was 53 degrees, which is
Most people
hot.
have never been in that outside of a sauna.
No, and you're running 20 something miles on that day, 22 miles, I think.
Yeah. For people that
Um,
don't know what it is, it's in the Sahara Desert. It's 155. It was 250K, isn't it?
yeah,
In the Sahara Desert. A friend
yeah,
of mine, Mark Pert, I think, did
yeah.
another one. In fact, what's the other guy's name? Station manager, South Yorkshire. Oh God, I'm really sorry because I bet he'll probably listen. I hate it. I've forgotten his name. Sorry. I think he did it with a pack on, two 10-kilo packs. Incredible
Because
bloke.
you got to
I'm
carry
so
everything.
sorry. So sorry. I've forgotten his name. That's terrible.
It'll come back to you.
Oh, it will come back to me in a
Yeah,
blind
you got to
rush in a
carry
minute.
everything. Or like they put a Bedouin tent up, but you've got to carry all your own food and your sleeping gear for the entirety of the race. So
It's
you
the
are
whole
self-sufficient.
self-supported, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so there's water stations because you can't possibly carry enough water, but other than that, yeah, you're carrying your own gear.
That's
So
mad.
people's packs vary in weight and size depending on the comforts they want. Like I
James
took a
Bull.
James Ball. There you go.
Sorry. James
There you
Bull,
go. Sorry,
station
bully.
commander.
Yeah.
Sorry, James. Told you I'd remember you. I love you. Carry on. I apologize for interrupting again.
But
I've got to get
people
James
would
out there.
take different levels of comfort. So I took a pipe with me, an old school smoking pipe. And
What?
in the evenings, I would wander around the camp because you could easily just lay in your own tent and just get to know the 6 people you're with, or 5
Mm-hmm.
people, however many. But I'd light the pipe. I'd walk around in my spandex compression pants and just go and talk to people in different tents that I'd come across on the
Were you a
race. And
smoker
just,
already?
not really. I like a cigar, but
Okay.
I had a pipe, just like every now and then. It's, it's,
In case people didn't know you were British, just to make
yeah,
sure to
yeah. People go,
cement that in
that's
there.
actually really cool. I love the smell. It's not cool,
Yeah.
but but it was really nice. It was a nice way of just like people come to talk to me and like starting in conversation. And I think on I think it was the long stage. I think it's like 55-mile run. With about half mile, I lit the pipe and I ran across the finishing line of the stage with a pipe hanging out my mouth. And like the people at the end were like, "Okay, we've seen a lot of people do this race. We've
The
never seen
British
that
of all
before."
British. The
Yeah,
British are
I
here, baby.
loved it.
How did
So
that
yeah, that's
feel
the
then,
Marathon des Sables.
participating in an actual race? Like you say, the camaraderie must have been amazing. The shared challenge of doing it with other people. Would you say that's more of a big? It's obviously not a beginner's, for Christ's sake, but like doing something on your own, it must be a whole nother cognitive leap.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like the Marathon des Sables billed as the toughest foot race in the world. I don't think it is. They just live off that. Yes, it's
Okay.
hot. Yes, it's a desert, but I would say probably a jungle race would be more difficult. But it's by the by. But you can just sign up to it and go, and you've got like support network there. Whereas if you're doing it on your own, most people will come across that fear of where you're going to sleep tonight, where you're going to
Yeah.
get your food, what if you get
Hmm.
lost, what if your phone
Hmm.
runs out of battery, all those kind of things, and and you're on your
You've
own.
not
But
got the
that's where
safety net of just collapsing into camp and
no,
going, there's people here to provide.
yeah,
Or if I fall asleep, I'm not going to get robbed.
yeah.
Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
that's it. No, if you're in Moldova and you're coming towards the end of the day, the lights started to fade. You've got to find somewhere to hang your hammock. You've got to find somewhere to get some food. That shop may or may not take a card. So have I got enough cash? Sometimes they didn't. There is
Did
all
you have any
things.
scary moments, like on your bike ride or anything, where you were mugged?
No, no. Like
Oh, wicked.
there was an amusing moment on the bike ride where I think I got to the end. I was following the Danube for a lot of it, and I got to the end where like the signs got a bit confusing, and these two guys in suits got out of this car that was just like this unmarked car and walked up to me, and I was like a bit like your size, big dudes, and I was like, all right, and they're
Hello,
like, oh,
mate.
yeah, they're like, are you lost? I'm like, oh, I've just been following the signs for the Eurovelo, whatever it was, and he said, oh yeah, the sign's got a bit rubbish from here. Follow me if you want. I was like, what do you mean? He said, I'll just follow the car. So another
How
two
about
massive,
no?
yeah, these another two more big dudes get out of the car in suits. I'm like, what the hell is this? Turns out they were police, so they put the blue light on the roof, and they said, "Just follow me." And I'm cycling through the city on a bike, trying to keep up. They're forgetting that I'm a cyclist, and they're in a fucking police car. And and it just went from like,
Ah,
okay, I'm in the country I don't really know,
yeah.
and there's probably an underground theme here, and then these
Does
ropes, and
smelling
then
like a homeless man help?
yeah, maybe the
People might be
lycra.
less likely to mug you. They're like, he hasn't
Yeah,
got a pot to piss in. I'm not.
yeah,
There's
look at the
nothing
state of
worth
him.
really robbing here.
Or I just get the bum butter out and go, can I help you? And they
Yeah.
go,
They go,
okay, see you
"No."
later.
Yeah. Just start
Or we go
rubbing
the
the
other way, of
crotch
course. Yeah.
aggressively. All right.
But
So it's not as
no,
scary. Or yeah, you do hear the horror stories. That's all.
you do. And it'll happen. I remember reading about Mark Beaumont, who cycled around the world. He's done it
Yeah.
twice. And he went through like Afghanistan, no problems, gets to America, day one, gets mugged.
Yeah.
And knocked off his car in day one. And you're like, that's meant to be
Yeah.
like the beacon of the free world, and the worst things
Yeah.
happen there, So
Yeah. I thought about that when I was in Vietnam. Like the kindness of the people.
mm,
Beautiful people.
yeah,
It's mad.
wonderful, aren't they?
Yeah, it's crazy. Just a segue. So Marathon des Sables, nailed
Yeah.
that. How much of a gap did you have between these things? You say straight on to the next thing.
I try
Marathon
and
des
do
Sables.
one. Try and do one. So Marathon des Sables 2017, so the next year. So I try and do something big every year. That's kind of the
Wow.
plan. So there'll
Okay.
be mini adventures, but always try and do one big one. So like the actual timeline of what came next gets a bit furry,
Was it not
a bit
skateboarding?
blurry. No, that was a few more years. Like I tried to. I think maybe the wheelbarrow was the next one. I think.
Oh
Um,
Christ, yeah.
so yeah, tried to run from Latvia to the Ukraine with a wheelbarrow. So got
Of course.
obviously wheelbarrow, you put all your gear in it. I thought, well, I've
Mhm.
done running with gear on my back. I'm gonna run with gear in a wheelbarrow instead.
Mm.
Um,
There's a lad on one of our stations we call Wheelbarrow. Only works when pushed.
yeah, I know a lot of those. Yeah,
There's a lot of them bad boys.
probably not as nice as my wheelbarrow. It's a beaut.
Talk to us about picking the Gucci wheelbarrow Moldova to Latvia. How do you pick a wheelbarrow for something like that?
So yeah, Latvia to the Ukraine. So yeah, I just found a few companies, got them to donate a wheelbarrow. Found a local company do some funky handles that swivel, so make it a bit easier. Flew into Latvia, got some bloke to take a photo of me, and just started running. Trying to do at least a marathon a day. More like 30, 35 was the aim. 40 if I could manage it. So yeah, got through Latvia. Got into
Long handles?
So
So you don't smack your knees? Was that a metric?
yeah, so quite long handles, and then these called I-tip handles are these ones you put on, and they swivel on it, so it's not a rigid
Oh,
traditional
good.
handle. So you
Yeah.
could a bit of movement
Two
in there.
wheels
So
or
when you
one?
sort of one wheel,
One wheel. Does that
yeah,
have
one
to
wheel.
be a one wheel to factor for a wheelbarrow? I don't know what the.
I think two would make it a bit
I wouldn't want to
almost like you're
misgender a
on
two-wheeled
rails. It'd be
wheelbarrow.
difficult, I think, with two. But
I imagine it would be. I have no idea.
yeah,
I
yeah,
literally have no context or reference for
yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, not
There is a
yeah,
photo on there of yours though.
yeah. So she's a beaut.
She's beautiful. You
But
still got her?
so no, I got in.
Oh,
I did about 350 miles, and then my knee blew up. It just like my good knee as well. Just went just massive. Taped it up, elevated it, and
spontaneously, or do you think you snapped
I
something,
was just
or
wear and tear. I think just being that as because you're you're constantly in like a slightly leant forward position as you're pushing, and I think
surprised your back didn't have an issue?
yeah, back was fine. Like I'm not, as I alluded to earlier, I'm not a great runner. I'm not a great lifter. I'm not a great swimmer. I'm not great at anything, but I will just keep on pushing. And my body just went, no, this is an awful position to be in, and I'm
Yeah.
not happy about this. So it flared up. Um, did what I could. The next morning, went for a little jog around the campsite. Realised it was knackered. Traded the wheelbarrow for a lift to the airport, and flew home. And just kind of went, okay, I had this aim to run 1,000 miles with a wheelbarrow. It didn't happen. I don't
Still
think I
though,
failed.
Jesus Christ, 350 miles.
Yeah,
Because
if I
most,
said,
what's classed as an ultra? 100 miles?
well, technically anything over a marathon is an ultra.
Oh, is it? Is that the way it
Yeah,
works?
technically. Yeah.
Technically,
So,
for the
yeah.
people that haven't done 350, but you wouldn't class a 50 miler as an. I don't know. We're not. I've
Wow,
not
yeah.
done. Yeah, I've not done ultra marathons, so I can't say anything. But 350 by, I would like to say anybody's measure around the
Well,
world is
yeah,
still
because
a
if you'd
colossal.
but again, it's how you contextualize it. If I'd said I'm going to run 350 miles with a wheelbarrow and I completed it, that sounds great. And you come away thinking, yes, nailed it, done it. Everybody's like, yeah, well done, great pat on the back. But because I set the bar so high and wanted to go so far, and I
Why'd you
didn't
pick a
even get,
thousand?
it was because that was the to Ukraine. That was just from coast to coast,
Oh, right.
basically. That was like the geographical thing. I thought I'm going to run through these new countries, tick off load of things. But because I set the bar so high and didn't even get 50% of the way, then it'd be easy to go, well, I failed. I'm never doing this stuff anymore. I'm no good at it. But I got to the point where I could go, yeah, didn't make it. My body gave up. My mind didn't give up. My body gave up. And no, I've gone home and I've taken the experience of what it was for what it was. So like the people that took me in, the people I met, the family of people that don't speak any English that are showing me their World War II rifles that they've dug up from their garden while feeding me cheese made from the goats in their yard. And,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
those
yeah.
memories that you go, that's what it was all about. Which is funny because I'm not a people person at all, but I love meeting these people on my journeys.
How do you stop yourself telling people about this at a dinner party?
Yeah, it's well, that would depend on who you ask about this, because some people probably say, "Oh, yeah, all he does is talk about all his adventures." It's normally because I'm prompted. But people ask me,
I
and
think we would ruin someone's evening if I met you at a dinner party, because I would just pin you into a corner and miss the whole event.
well, I suppose, yeah. I mean, that's a compliment. It's a massive compliment, isn't it? And sometimes it does go along those lines. But if you actually strip that back, if you're in a room full of people that are super high powered and important,
Yeah.
but then they discover you're a firefighter, people want to talk about what you do.
Yeah, they do.
It's always the
It's
topic of
weird.
conversation
Yeah. I was
because,
at the British Embassy in Saudi about 2 weeks
as you
ago.
were, yeah,
And
cool.
no, I was out there for Intersec. Dubai, sorry. I need to stop saying Saudi. I always get them confused. It's terrible.
Ooh.
Dubai. And you're at the British Embassy. And like you say, they were doing a celebration of business and trade. So all the big execs from this
Mm.
Intersec show were there. And they were like, "Oh, so what do you do? What business do you run?" I'm like, "I'm just a firefighter." I just got accidentally invited here because I'm a loudmouth that just chats to people from all over the world, and you ended up with a little audience of people.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
There you go.
And it's so weird. It is quite weird because what they've done, building a large business, is a tremendous achievement in a very different way. But they had a tremendous amount of humility. Everybody in the room was just like good at acknowledging each other. It was very weird, actually, because obviously
Nice.
they're all
Yeah.
British. But it's what I said earlier about like true winners like to see other people winning.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah. I
what I
agree.
mean? And
Yeah.
they celebrate you and acknowledge you and don't want to beat you over the head with their success. And that was really quite strange. I wasn't used to it, but lovely.
And the success in totally different fields as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I think some people have this idea that if you win, I lose.
Mm.
And I think the world and the opportunities are so vast these days that for me and all the people that I work with and associated things and UK Big Firefighters or the challenge circuits or whatever else that it might be, the rising tide raises all the ships. Like if you win, I win, we win.
Yeah.
You
That's
know
a
what I
good way
mean?
of doing it.
It's
Yeah.
not I win, you lose.
No.
It's a very poverty mindset, that is. Like there's a finite amount of something on this table. And if you get one, I lose. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, no, you're thinking way too narrow, way too narrow, way too
Yeah. And
narrow.
that prompts jealousy, doesn't it? Which is
Jealousy,
unhealthy.
bitterness,
Mm.
ugly.
Yeah. Really
The
ugly.
cycle going down that way is not nice. Anyway, so I ripped you away from wheelbarrows. So you got over that one
Yeah.
again, tremendous heavy lift. Was that one of the first signs of worry about the body? Because you've not really referenced much about physical breakdown yet.
No. No. That was acknowledgement that maybe I'm I don't know, not as indestructible as I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But I was mid-30s. Well, you're gonna get injured if you keep
Yeah.
on pushing the boundaries. You're gonna get injured at some point. There's just
Yep.
no two ways about it. And people go to me, "Oh, you're accident prone." 100% am not accident prone. But if you put your body on the line constantly, eventually
Yeah.
it'll get hurt. It's just that you put yourself in harm's way.
And you
Eventually.
had already had the big motorcycle accident, actually.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
So,
maybe it's just born out of worry. People going, well, ooh, you had that big moment, and technically I'm a guinea pig as well because the plastic they put in me is untested beyond 15 years, which I've just reached that point. So
wow.
I might have to have it replaced 2-3 times. I might never have to have it replaced. So they scan it
Yeah, but
every
also
year.
when you
So
look at what science and medical science is doing now, I always say like if you told a doctor 10 years ago the things we're doing now, they'd have laughed you out the room, I think.
oh yeah,
They'd have been like, don't be so stupid. It is literal wizardry that we are doing now. People with spinal deformities are walking again. I think there's
Mm,
people that are obviously people getting conical implants, born deaf and now they can hear,
yeah, and like the
and
emotion on their
ocular,
faces.
macular degeneration, people that lose their sight and can be brought back. You're just like, when someone says, oh, you can have this knee, but it only lasts 10 years, I'm like, go for it.
Yeah, have it.
Because in 10 years, we'll come up with something else. We'll come
Yeah.
up with something else. And I'll solve that problem then. You know what I mean? I don't want to wait until I'm 50 and then get the new knee and just live 10 years of pain now. Do you know what I mean? Because by the time I'm that age, if I even make it to there, do you know what I
If
mean?
you
I want
make
it
it,
now.
exactly.
I want it
Mm.
now.
Yeah, I want
Um,
to carry on. I want to keep on doing my thing.
so what was the recovery for the knee? What was it in the end?
It's just overuse. Basically, the tendons of the patella had just been aggravated just through overuse.
Tendinopathy.
Basically, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. Yeah.
I had that
So
in my right patella tendon. It snapped off the bone. So I didn't slow down quick enough, but it recovered. Yeah, it just took a long
yeah,
time.
so I had that when I was a teenager in my left knee, and I'd also had an operation to remove a bit of bone that shouldn't have been there in my left knee as well. So it's always tends to be on the left hand side. And then so it was the first time my right hand side of my body had gone, nah, I'm not happy about this. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, that one's has its weaknesses.
Now you say that, all of mine's down the right actually.
There you go.
I've tore my right pec off. I've tore my right knee, and my right shoulder that I was talking to you about is twinging like nobody's business today. Don't know why that is. Random. Obviously, I'm right-handed, so I don't know.
Well, I'm
Who knows?
right-handed, but yeah, there you go.
Skateboarding.
Yeah, I would say it's probably my worst adventure out of all of them because I'm
Yeah.
a terrible, terrible skateboarder.
It's a much higher skill level is the problem. I
Yeah.
think you missed the stroke on that one, mate. Spoke about athletics earlier. You are physical dog. You are not tap
That's it,
dancing
dog of the
skateboarder.
No. And the only reason I wanted to do skateboarding was a mate of mine. I was like, I really need to do a journey with him. And so he's a good skateboarder. I was like, we'll just do skateboarding. Well, I'll pick somewhere flat. Denmark. It's not as flat as I thought it would be. There's no really high points, but it's very undulating. And if you
Okay.
can't stop on a skateboard, which I cannot, then you're going to have some very stressful moments, and you're going to have some big crashes.
How
Of
soon
which I
did you
had quite a
realize you
few.
couldn't stop?
Well, I knew. So if you backtrack to I first got the skateboard, and we've got the Tarka Trail here where I live in North Devon, which is an old railway line. So super flat, super straight. I done about 200 meters. Probably the first time I'd have been on a skateboard since I was, I don't know, 14, something like
Mm.
that. And yeah, I fell off and broke my leg. I was like,
You broke your leg.
right, yeah, yeah. Wasn't going uphill, downhill, trying to turn, just in a straight line. And apparently I skate all wrong anyway, and just came off. And
Evidently.
so, yeah, and then the local yoga instructor was, he went past me as I was sat on the floor, and he's like, "You all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And he was going off to teach yoga where my wife was, and he turns up at yoga, and he's like, "Louise, I've just seen Scott on the floor." So when she came home, she looked at me. He's like, "What have you done now?" I'm like, "I might need to go in A&E. I think
What did
I've
you
broken my
break?
leg." Huh?
What did you break?
The fib.
Oh, so lower leg.
Yeah,
That sucks.
yeah. Yeah, so I was put in a cast as you were, as you do, and then I thought, okay, well, what can I do? So I got the crutches from hospital and started to do as many miles as I could on my crutches. So I did 50 miles in total while I had the cast on.
Breaking bones is way better than tearing ligaments, though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
6, 8
So I
weeks. They're
tore.
pretty fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Repairs. Certainly, if you're a healthy diet, you take the right supplements,
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of stuff to help promote the recovery. Whereas, no, I did damage the ligaments in my ankle in 2011 playing football, and the problems that's caused ever since.
I
You
know,
know,
I hate
always
it.
going to see an osteopath to try and keep on top of the problems that's caused. You know, but yeah, broke my leg, and then yeah, I competed in. There was like a race going on, so I just got a penguin suit and just did like a almost half marathon on the crutches, and just raise a bit of money, do something different, because it's not about what I couldn't. There was a lot of things I couldn't do, but there were certainly things I could do.
Yeah.
So you just focus on those. So, yeah, that
But
was
you
that
did still do
chapter.
the skateboarding?
Still did skateboard. Yeah, we did 500 miles around Denmark. Um, Camping most of it.
Why?
Some days we did double marathons. Why was that?
Yeah.
Uh,
You're obviously not very
Again,
good at it.
no, I'm not. I'm terrible. Like I say, I crashed. I've still got gravel in my elbow under the skin from one of the crashes.
Wicked.
Yeah, I like wiped out on this. I saw Ollie go down, and I thought, I'm not going down there. I can't stop. So I was walking. I was being sensible, and then I saw him at the bottom. I thought, oh, I can manage this bit. Got on the board, started going. He's waving his arms like, no, 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 it's too dodgy. I got a bit of speed wobble, managed to correct it, and then next thing I know, up in the air, hit the gravel. I was wearing a helmet, but no gloves, no knee pads, no elbow pads, because I thought that would look stupid. I wanted to look cool.
Yeah. Got to think about the photos.
Well, yeah, and in the end, I didn't really have enough plasters, so we went to the supermarket, and the only thing we could get was some panty liners, women's panty liners, which I strapped to my elbow as like a big
Nice.
plaster. So I ended up looking really stupid, as opposed to just like somebody who can't skate.
So that
um,
was a swing and a miss, but
yeah,
still a hell of a 500-mile adventure.
yeah, and we had in between we had a great time. There's some really memorable moments. And again, met really cool people, saw a new country, and bonded really well over this shared adventure. Um, he's not wanted to do another one since, but that's by the by.
I haven't spoken to him in a few years, but never
Yeah,
mind.
he's like, this is hard work. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Was he was obviously he was already a skateboarder then. He's
Yeah.
good
Oh,
at
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Great skateboarder, and like got loads of footage of him flying down hills and carving around. And he crashed as well. There was one where we were coming down a hill. We were like really beautiful surroundings coming down. Then we come around this corner, and it just keeps going down and down and down. At the bottom, it comes to a T junction of a really busy road, and then like a big lake. And we're like, oh crap! And he's ahead of me, and I see him think that I'm going too fast. So he rams it into a bank and crashes into the bank. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to do the same thing here. It's just there's no other option. It's like into the grass barrier, flip up in the air, try and style it out badly. So there were moments where even he, as a good skateboarder, was like, yeah, that was dodgy. So
There's no
Um,
brakes on skateboards, dude.
no, there's no brakes, only your foot, like the bottom of your
Yeah, but I
shoe is
imagine
how
that
you.
doesn't work past a certain speed.
Well, also, if you can't keep your balance very well, it's a terrible idea to even try. So, I would,
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah. I'd never. The
Love
skateboard
the
sits in the,
enthusiasm. Wrong lane.
yeah, it
Wrong
sits in the
lane.
shed, and I don't think I'll be going back to that again. That one's done.
So then it was kick scooting after that.
Yeah, kick scooting was in there somewhere. I thought, was it before or after? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then what else? Then there's probably the Moldova with a trailer attached to my waist. So again, country I've never been to, Moldova. Flew into the capital, had like a bicycle trailer essentially, but with an attachment that's designed for people to run with pushchairs.
Yep.
I don't know if you've ever seen them. So like, I
Yeah.
sort of,
Saw him at Centre Parks. Yeah.
yeah, that kind of thing. So I bodged that into something for the trailer, and then saw all my camping gear in there. Yeah, ran through Moldova, got arrested, went into Romania.
Why'd you get arrested?
Unbeknownst to me, I was too close to the Ukrainian border. Um, so yeah, I'd looked at the map and saw some tracks down there. It's just running along, nobody around, and then this vehicle comes out of nowhere, and it's the border police. They don't speak in English. They want my passport. I'm like, what have I done wrong? And they're like, that's Ukraine over there. And I'm like, is it? And they're like, you shouldn't be here. I'm like, well, there's no signs to say you can't go here.
Yeah.
So eventually they get me in the truck and they take me to the border police station, the border of Romania, where I was heading anyway. And yeah, they wanted to fine me like €3,000 for being there. And I walk into this room and there's like 5 police officers all at their desks, and they all just look up at me. And I'm like, "Hi!" Like half in micro, like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm here. And then eventually somebody who speaks English comes in, and they don't know, but they don't believe I've done the mileage I've done in the time I've said I've done it. So I had to get Strava out and show them.
Really?
And then, yeah, in the end, they just wanted pictures of my setup and me in the trailer. They said, "Oh, empty your bag." So I'm like, "Okay, this is my cooker, this is my GoPros, my sleeping gear." But in there, I had a small drone, and I just kept pushing this drone around the bags. I thought, in the situation I'm in here, a
Yeah.
drone's really not going to look like a good thing on the border of Ukraine.
I'd be
when I'm already
avoiding the
in
bum
trouble.
butter more than anything else.
Yeah,
But
I was like, "Boys."
you when one of them recognises what it is, that's when you're like, oh, hello.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking
If you'd
about.
just like to come to this cell, yeah.
He's one of them. Yeah, but I imagine the drone wouldn't have gone down well.
No, I wouldn't have done. But they managed to. I managed to hide it, and then got like waved off across the border and then into Romania. And the idea was to go all the way back to Burgas, where the Black Sea row started. But again, my knee gave out. So I got to Constanta on the Black Sea. So I still managed to get to the Black Sea. So it was cut shorter than I wanted, but I still had a great story. Met some great people, but
Yeah.
again, just the load on the body and that the way that the weight was on my hips and I was having to pull all the time. It was just another. I'd love to go on a run where I just run and see how far I could go without any of that extra loading gear.
Yeah, but now is that why you transitioned to the bike after that again? Because did you go bike with Tanzania after that?
Tanzania, yeah. Again, the guy called Matt that I worked with, he was at Slough Fire Station, and yeah, I just like this dream. I'd seen this thing about bamboo bicycles, and I thought they're cool. So I tracked down the guy who makes them. So yeah, we bought the components, flew out to Rwanda, crossed the border into Uganda, stayed with him for like 4 days, building the bike in his little mud hut. And then we cycled across the border into Tanzania, around Lake Victoria to the bottom of Kilimanjaro on these bamboo bicycles. And up until probably the last day, I think we saw 2 white people. We were literally the only ones. And it's because on the western side of Lake Victoria, there's no real tourism. Nobody goes there. Everything's on the other side. So we were literally the first white people these people had ever seen in their lives. You'd go into a little shop, come out with some water, and they'd be like, they'd touch your skin, like where your tattoos are, and like they were like blown away by this ink and like the color of your skin, and just and it was a really weird situation where I was in the minority, like massively in the
Yeah,
minority.
yeah, yeah,
In
yeah,
England, as a
yeah.
white bloke, there's almost everybody's the same.
Throw a stick in the
And
air, yeah, you hit one.
yeah, and then to be the other end of that spectrum was really, really strange, quite humbling. And throughout the journey, you saw what you picture, what Bob Geldof sells to you every year,
Hmm.
and so you do see that poverty, and you see like a 2-year-old with a stick herding animals by the side of a road, just like where his parents are, you just don't know. And
Mm.
you see like people are just working in a rice field all day long, but when they see you come in, and they're just like this massive smile comes on their faces, and they're just waving at you.
It's
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 humbling,
weird,
really
isn't
humbling.
it? Because I think there's a thing where we try and apply Western expectations to countries like that in an assumption that we're going to solve their plight. But
Mm,
there's sometimes, like I say, when I went to Vietnam, it was similar. Like they seem to be significantly happier in a strange way, and they're more humble. They're significantly more grateful. Um, and also, like you say, the Bob Geldof side of stuff, incredible work. Obviously, all those people do, but you have to wonder why all of that money doesn't get to the people that need it. And I can only imagine. I don't know, but the internet suggests there's a lot of governmental corruption that goes on. The aid never makes it to the people in some capacity or another. I'm sure that's a story in different countries, but
yeah.
yeah, it's not through lack of trying from the
No,
public's donations that these
no, it's
places
not.
can't seem to be
And
solving their problems.
a lot of money is raised for a lot of good causes, and we were raising money very specifically for a school to be rebuilt. That was like, we wanted it to go to somewhere we could see, and like the
Yeah.
people around it were really great and everything. But when you talk about people being happy with their lot, with what they've got, we saw nothing but smiling faces and happy people, despite them, on our terms, not having very much in the western part. But then as
Mm.
soon as we got near the commercial area of the animal parks and Kilimanjaro itself, the the attitude change was night and day. Suddenly
Really?
it was money, give me your money, like from these kids. Like
Wow.
there was these 2 tribal kids, they're big sticks, and we were cycling. Matt was in front, and one of them just started shouting, "Money, give me your money!" And we both went, "No!" So Matt went past, and this kid with his stick took this massive swing at me, hit me across the back. I slammed on the brakes, ditched my bike, and like the red mist has come down. I've just been whacked across the back. So I started sprinting after this African kid. And then I like, there's 4x4s driving around with people with these massive telephoto lenses that are going to go and see some zebras. And I thought,
Yeah.
can you imagine tomorrow morning waking up and I'm on the front page of a newspaper, like punching an African kid? And I was
Punching
just
an
like,
African kid.
it's like, it was in tribal gear and everything. I was like, that's not a good look. And I was like,
Yeah, the optics are terrible here. But
chill.
you're like,
But
he just smacked me with a goddamn stick.
yeah, look at the red mark on my back. Like, it was like he properly whacked me, But that only existed where Westerners
Mm,
would be, and I don't feel bad about for the kid or what happened, because
yeah.
he's been told these people have money, they're here, they owe you. You got this, they've got that. Whereas
Yeah. The
in the other
haves and the
part of the
have-nots.
country,
Yeah.
they had mobile phones, but they weren't smartphones. They were just an old Nokia 3310 kind of thing. It
Hmm.
was just enough to communicate. So it's almost like they didn't know what else they could have. So their appreciation of
Mm,
what they do have
mm.
was huge, even to the point where if we ordered food from a local stall and we didn't order the chicken, they'd be like, why not? Like Matt was a vegetarian, so I just kind of ate with him. It was fine.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
they're like, but you're white, you can afford chicken. I'm like, yeah, but we don't want it. And they couldn't quite understand that, which is really strange. But what ultimately brought us kind of like this link that we could talk to each other was when they looked at the bikes and they're like, wow. And I'd say, yes, this was made in Uganda. Like it's got the little stamp on it. And they're like, wow, this was made where we're from. Like, yeah, this is an African handmade bike. And that they were so proud that this thing was being used in this way.
Hmm.
And once you come back to England, if I go out cycling on it, the amount of people that want to talk about it, take photos of it, because
Yeah.
it's unique, it's pretty cool.
I
But it was
imagine
quite an
though
experience.
for him being a vegetarian, they're like Oh, what a weird, privileged Western choice that would be. No, thank
Yeah.
you. I'm only going to eat certain types of all of this privileged food I have access to because my morals don't agree to it. And I'm not taking the mickey. It sounds like I'm
No,
taking the
no,
mickey out of
no.
vegetarians, but they're like, I'll eat anything. And if someone offers me the meat, hell yeah, I'm going to have some
Yeah.
meat. What a privilege to get offered some meat. Whereas we're like, no, thank you. Have you got any grass-fed, vegan, non-gendered salad, please? We're
Yeah.
like, what are you even on about?
Yeah, they didn't understand. I mean, he did eat a bit of chicken to begin with, but after that, you saw the state of the animals, and you're just like, do I really
Yeah,
want to eat
exactly.
that?
Yeah,
And
I know.
actually, when I came back from Africa, I probably went the next 3 months without eating meat because I was just, because, it wasn't because I was vegetarian. It was just I was just put off for a bit. And
Mm.
actually, it was when I moved from Berkshire to Devon and Somerset, and I joined the new watch, and I was like, oh, actually, I'm not eating meat at the moment. And the look on their faces like,
They were
you
like,
what?
oh God,
One of them.
you got one of them. Careful what you say around him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, just to be clear, I do like meat and will eat it. I'm just not for a bit. That's all right.
They're absolutely not a problem, Scott. What are your pronouns, just so we don't
Yeah.
upset you? Just let us know. Don't want to upset you. No, I'm joking. But so since you've done all of this, I wanted to zoom us back for a second on the writing and the storytelling element of this, because obviously we'll link it to your website, excuse me, Split Lip Adventures. When did you realize that this was an incredible story to be told and something that, so many people could take lessons and inspiration from? And as much as you've done so much, how much do you reckon you've raised for charity over the years? Have you ever tried to quantify it?
No, I've never really added it up, but I mean, I don't know, probably if you take in the Atlantic, 50, 60,000. So,
Wow,
it's a lot,
that's
but
amazing.
not a lot. Isn't it? Because you hear of a Radio 2 DJ doing something and
Yeah, they've
then
done a
they
5K and
raise like,
raised 20K, and you're like, how have they
yeah,
done
yeah,
that?
exactly. But it's your audience, isn't it? It's
It is your
if
audience.
you're on the radio
Yeah,
every single day and every other DJ is saying, "Oh, they're going to do this," yes,
yeah.
it's good what they've done. It's incredible, and the
Of course
money
it is.
hopefully goes to the right place. But it makes
Yeah.
your own effort sometimes. You think, "Huh?" I'm
Well,
pretty
and
sure I worked a lot harder than that.
that's the point when you then have to, like, I mean, you're doing it now. Do you know what I mean? Is not getting over ourselves, but realizing you're a very rare person. Like, you've
Well,
done
I don't
some
think I am.
well,
I don't
maybe
think
that's
I
just
am.
because you know more people like you. I would say you are
No,
very
no.
rare.
No, I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a regular guy who says, I'm gonna give that a go. I don't look for excuses to try not to do it. Sometimes I will, I guess, but it's I choose to do something. So if I choose to go and run a half marathon before work, just get up a bit earlier, I've chosen to do that. I'm never going to be the fastest one, but I've just chosen to do it. It's getting rid of those excuses and reasons not to, and just do it. There's nothing special about me at all.
Nothing special, but that sheer mindset and the ability to make a decision and stick with it. That requires a high agency kind of person.
Maybe, but I don't think of myself in that
No, you wouldn't,
way at all.
because
I
you live
still
with you every day.
identify, yeah, I still identify as that fat shy kid. That's in my
Yeah,
head. That's who I am,
yeah.
and every day I'm just trying to prove myself wrong that I'm maybe not that
Mhm.
anymore. Um,
Are we allowed to get into your reserve work?
yeah, I try not to talk about it too much, if I'm honest, because I don't know. It's
Secret Squirrel Club.
not everything doesn't have to be out there. You
No, I
know,
know it doesn't, but I just think a lot
yeah,
of people will be hearing this, and we won't go into too many specifics, but they're like, wow, imagine the usefulness of this sort of person if they, I mean, obviously you're a first responder for many years, but
mm,
also you're now seeking greater levels of service in different capacities.
yeah, and actually, I was being scrutinised straight away because I joined at the upper age limit of being able to do that. So
Hmm.
you go on these initial courses and people are looking at you going, "Why are you here? You're
Hmm.
old. What are you doing?" And then the first physical test, you outperform almost everybody, and they go, "Oh." and then they hear you're a firefighter, so you're used to that. It's the fire service and the army or the military aren't the same, but there's a lot of similarities. There's like,
Mhm.
in a fire service, we're experts at getting dressed very quickly.
Yeah.
That's what we do
Yeah.
essentially when you boil it down to it. So when you're in a camp and suddenly you're under fire in a training scenario and you've got to get dressed quickly, that's second nature to me. I'm dressed and returning fire, and other people are still like in their pants going, huh, what's going on? So there are certain experiences in the fire service that have lended quite handily to being in the military. But it was certainly proving that I belonged, even though I was older, even though I look at myself and like, yeah, I'm 43, nearly 44, but I don't feel old. And then outperforming and outrunning all these other people, and like the endurance side of things I do. If you're going on a long tab with a big Bergen on, that's just easy. That's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
If you ask me to sprint 50 meters quicker than the others, I probably won't be able to do it because that's not me anymore. Those fast twitch muscle fibers are getting a bit slower, and that's the only thing that I sort of noticed. But I certainly, it was a scratch I needed to itch. No, an itch I needed to scratch, I should say.
Mm.
In joining the military, and I'm really glad I did. And it's just another facet. It's it's ticking off those boxes. My bucket list is huge, and I'm trying to do as many of those things as I possibly can to the best of my ability.
Your bucket
Um,
list is huge. So
yeah,
I thought it'd be a
it is.
good element for us to close on. I mean, you've got total transparency. There's a myriad of sponsors that you already work with. Maybe we could shout a couple of them out. But I was just looking at your in the pipeline section. Is this up to date? Are these still active
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that
There's
you?
a few more that
Because
aren't on there, but yeah.
well, there's a lot as there is, brother. So I'm just looking down now. We've got the River Severn in a bathtub.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to read them
That'd be
all
cool.
out, but the Arctic Circle to the bottom of Finland on a go-kart.
Yeah, that's this September. The pedal go-kart. So Berg, who make go-karts, the head of UK sales, lives in the town that I work in, my fire station. So that's almost like it was a dream come true. Contacted them, had lunch. Yeah, we can give you one of those. So
So you're going to do
um,
700 miles on a go-kart in 2 weeks.
yeah, with a
Are they
trailer.
making you slightly bigger pedals?
Yeah, the go-kart it's essentially a kid's go-kart, but it's an adult size one, so it is bigger. But the
Thank
go-kart
God.
itself, yeah, yeah, the
The
go-kart
repetitive
itself weighs
strain
50
on those tiny
kilos.
rotations would suck ass.
Yeah, but that's what I'm in it for. Just like can I sustain that? Can I, if I say people go, oh, why don't you just get a motorized one? I'm like, where's the challenge in that? Like,
Yeah.
I want to prove I
Um,
can do it and then create a story.
Pedalo down the Rhine?
Yeah,
What's
I
that?
I really want a pedalo. Like a swan pedalo
Yeah.
that you see in parks. I really want to do a big
One of the
journey on
world's
a.
longest rivers is potentially one of the busiest rivers as well. And you're going to try and build or buy a pedalo to go down that
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Wicked.
yeah. That'd be
Selling
cool.
ice creams to Iceland?
Yeah, that was born actually in the Sahara. The guys I was in the tent with were like, oh well, maybe we can come up with an idea, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe I could get one of those bicycles that have a little ice cream box on, and I could cycle the circumference of Iceland trying to sell ice creams to the Icelandic people
Wow.
whilst circumnavigating.
So the Arctic Circle is in September.
Yeah,
You're doing the
yeah,
River Severn in a bathtub in June.
hopefully, yeah,
Explain that one
yeah.
a little bit more. Sounds obvious, but
Uh, yeah, it's just paddling. Yeah, a bathtub. It kind of floats if you put the right flotation on it. And I read about a guy who set the record for the furthest distance in 24 hours paddled in a bathtub. I guess the paperwork didn't go in correctly, so it's not currently a record. So it's there. So I thought, oh, if we do the first 24 hours non-stop and then just kind of enjoy the rest of the journey, we'll just go on a little journey. There's a Hannah who I work with. she's the same mindset as me. She's like, if I say, "Do you want to do that?" She'll go, "Yeah, let's do that." So she's great for me because we've got World War II bikes, World War II postal bikes. We finished work in Bridgewater at 9 a.m. and just started cycling north, and we got to Liverpool and then got the train back in time for our next shift back 4 days later. So that kind of stuff, she's just like, "Yeah, I'll do that." So she's up for the bathtub.
Dude,
It's
you're
really
an
healthy.
inspirational man, and you're having a
Ah,
tremendous impact on. No, I know, but like for people that are looking for that human being, um, a real gift for people like Hannah. Not that she would not have done something by herself. I'm sure she would have, but
she absolutely would. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But when you're around other people doing this kind of stuff, like it's an amazing tribe. What's this? I don't know how much you're allowed to say about it. What's the Mars on Earth thing?
Oh, this is my big dream. This is the one that I really, really want, but the logistics behind it are so difficult. So if anybody listening knows anybody in the Northwest Passage, that would be great.
Where's that?
So, so it's the Canadian Arctic.
Obviously,
Uh,
sorry.
so yeah, so if you look on the map, it's Uh, the great British explorers from the past, Shackleton and that, they tried to pass through there, and HMS
Oh,
Endurance got stuck in the ice and all that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, there's an island there, ironically called Devon Island, um, based, that I live in Devon, and it's the largest uninhabited island in the world, but
whoa.
nobody's ever walked all the way across it. So, in the center of the island, there's a Horton crater, which where NASA do a lot of training, because the actual island itself in the summer, and I use the term summer very loosely, it's the most like Mars on planet Earth. So they do a lot of training there for a potential landing on Mars for humans. So 2/3 of the island is like that, and then a third of the island is basically a massive ice cap. So all their work, everybody just works around the crater, and there's an airstrip there where they land and things. And there used to be some Inuits who lived there for like 6 months and then went, "Yeah, it's too cold here." So it's like -50, like most of the time. So my plan is to walk from one side to the other, which is like 350 miles. But then the logistics of getting onto the island, getting off the island, there's only like a 30-day weather window where it's even possible. So you can't fly into the center, walk to one end, walk across, walk back to the middle, which means you need boats. Then you've got floating ice. Then you need to find the right people because the boat that was going to pick you up or take you, they need to do fuel drops in advance. And then there all these people that organize those things are called hunter trapper organizations, and they do like day trips for hunters and tourists and things. But they could potentially take you, but they won't take you unless you get the okay from the Inuits who have a vested interest in the island. There's like 6 different communities. They don't speak English. They don't have emails. And then you get somebody who goes, "Yes, I can definitely do that." And you say, "Can I have a price guide? Because I need to raise money for this." And they just drop off the face of the planet and you can't get hold of them again. Spoke to the head of the NASA station there, and he's like, "This is a great idea. I love it, but we can't help you. We're NASA. We're not allowed to get involved." So I was like, "Can't you just, if I land in the middle, can you just like snowmobile me to one end and then I'll just be on my own?" Like, "No, no, we'd love to help, but we can't." So yeah, this is my dream project, but it's one that's going to take a lot more chipping away at to even get off the ground. And then the sled that you're pulling is going to have to be able to travel across the ice, but then
Yeah.
also be able to go over like the ankle breaking red rubble of
Yeah, yeah,
Mars
yeah, yeah.
effectively.
You're gonna need some serious tires on that bad boy.
Yeah, and then you need to take a weapon with you because of polar bears. You need to be trained. You need to have the license for that. Yeah, so there's that aspect to it. There's where's the water, and then I've got universities who wanted me to take like plant life samples from the western part of the island because, as far as we know, no humans ever walked there before. So they want to know what's there. You know, they've got satellite imagery, but they want real life data. So there's loads of really cool stuff, but it's a hard one. So then that keeps getting pushed back and pushed back, and then I find something else to do. Like, okay, that's not going to happen this year. What else can I do? Oh, I'll do the go kart. So it's always been pushed back, but I'll get there one day. I'll get there.
Mate.
And I've got one for you coming up, hopefully as well, because
Oh
you asked me
Christ.
about the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah. Hit me.
so
Come on, let's make it public.
yeah, so I've got another boat meeting in about a week's time. So the idea is to build another ocean rowing boat,
Yeah.
but it not be rowing; it be pedal powered.
Roger
So
that.
like, you can read a book while you pedal. It's much easier. You can eat while you pedal. You're still making distance instead of having your hands tied up. So
Is there an
there's a
angle
lot
there
of.
for the fact that it's not been done as well then?
So my plan would be to go back and do the Black Sea again. So be the first person to row it, and then be the first person to pedal it, and then it'll be an ocean crossing. But these things don't come cheap. So
I'm game for
found
that.
a company who would build one. Found a guy called Phil Morrison, who's basically the daddy, the god of ocean rowing boat design.
Yeah.
So I'm meeting both of those next month, and then sort of come up with a plan. But then you're like, well, how does the gearing system? Do you have gears? Is it chain driven? Is it belt driven? Do you just have cogs? Do you have what angle do you have the prop shaft at? How big do the blades need to be? Do you have one? Do you have two? Are they interchangeable? So many different facets, and so many people I've spoken to that have done pedal powered crossings of water, but none of them have said that was perfect. There's always, I could have done that,
Something
could have been
broke.
better, this could have been better. So
Yeah.
it's trying to find, because it all has to be accessible as well. So the idea would be to have like a central pedal position, so two people can pedal at one time, and then the other two are resting, and then you swap over. So that would be the plan.
Yeah, because
So
that's how they do a lot of the dash, isn't it? It's 2 on, 2 off on the
yeah, and
windows.
that's how we did the Atlantic as well, 2 on, 2 off. So it's like the recognised way of doing it. But
Well, mate, I'm game. I'll put it out there. I'm 1,000% game. I know, and that's why I think, well, now originally, when did we first start talking? Like a year ago?
yeah, about 18 months ago, I think. Yeah.
Christ, people don't realize how long the cycle of guests sometimes lasts. Like from when we speak and then we eventually record. But I'm like, I'm in this for the long run. But selfishly, I love having the adventures as well. But I know, as much as everyone says they're busy, and we're all busy, I'm rubbish at making cognitive space for the extra challenges that I have. And only when I speak to people like yourself does it remind me of the things I've not done that I wanted to do. But finance wise, I think we could get a load of the partners and sponsors in behind something. So
Yeah.
maybe that will buy me a ticket onto one of your adventures. I don't know.
Yeah.
Physically, I'm pretty good
Yeah,
at
you'd be
resilient a
fine.
lot of shit.
The
Do you know
size
what
of
I
you,
mean?
a
Yeah,
beast.
there's loads of me that can waste away before I die.
Yeah.
So, worst case scenario, I'll just eat you. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy with this stuff, brother. It's like when people go, I'm not sure if I could outrun the bear. I don't need to. I'm just going to outrun you. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, that's it.
I always say to people, if you're stuck on an island, kill the big one first. Because if you don't kill them soon, they're going to kill everyone else. So
That's a
if it's just-
morbid way of finishing the podcast.
if it's
isn't it?
just the two of us and some bum butter, I'm going to be having a great time. It's going to be a long ass trip for you. That's all I'm saying. All right.
I can promise there will be Bumbata, Pete. So
Beautiful. Well, brother, you're a goddamn inspiration. If people want to find out more, go underneath here. We'll have the split adventures. There's a sponsors page on there. There's all the adventures. There's an about stuff. There's the charities. All of these individual challenges that Scott's participating in are on there as well. So if you want to pick a specific one and you think that aligns to your organization, to your company, to yourself, you can reach out there. And brother, you're an inspiration. It's an absolute privilege to get time with you. Please send my love to all of the family. And who knows? Maybe I'll be seeing you soon.
thanks for taking the time to talk to me, mate. Really appreciate it, because
you,
you've had some incredibly interesting people on your podcast, and there's little old me.
mate.